All right, so I'm starting up YouTube and Twitch. Go check them out fast here. See what I sound like here on Twitch. See what I sound like here on Twitch. Sounds good. Go over to YouTube. See what I sound like here on Twitch. Looks good. All right. Okay. We're okay on this. Make sure OBS is up. All right. Let's get pop, man. Let's get in there, man.
Can you feel it? The walls between the sane world and that unplumbed dimension of delirium are tenuously thin here.
Man, that guy's narrating voice is legit. He's so good. All right. I think I got everything ready. I don't have anything else to set up. Okay, I think we can just get started. Got my water. I got everything. I might just make sure that front doors and locks so somebody didn't walk in on me while I'm sitting here playing. Which I had a family member do that about a month ago, which was funny. All right. All right, we can get started here. So, what's up, guys? I'm the Loot Titan, and welcome back to another episode of Darkest Dungeon. So, the last time we were here, we walked through and did some normal grinding. That's been the kind of the par for the course the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that's what we're going to be doing again for today. The last time we were here, we ended our mission by getting a weekly event here. That's the wrong event, or that's the wrong thing. The bell here, the labor force. So we had a free upgrade, and that was amazing to have trigger at this point in the game. I think it can trigger pretty early, like probably week 5. I don't know. I'm not sure how early this. I'm kind of talking out of the side of my mouth on that. I'm guessing it can trigger pretty early in the game. But we got really lucky that it triggered when it did, this labor force, because it gave us a free upgrade to any building of our choice. And we went over here and selected the blacksmith, and we went ahead and already locked in weaponsmithing tier 4 when we don't even have armor smithing tier 3. That's a lot. I'd have to go look at it. We'll have to remember to look at this the next time, but I couldn't see it because it just said the word free underneath it for the week. Every single upgrade said free. It didn't let you see how much it normally costs. But I'm going to guess if it's, you know, any indication here, 32 deeds, 35 crests, this was a huge jump. Like, so for this to get locked in for free that's weeks of work of gathering resources that we just got for free. That's crazy. So that's a nice thing. We're no complaints there. I'm really happy about that. Oh, I need to switch over to, yeah. Just realized that in my local recording, nothing to worry about, but just realized my local recording was recording my webcam on it. I try not to do that, so that's no big deal. Anyway, but yeah, I think we're gonna get started here. I probably should doing this a little out of order. I got to remember to do this, and bear with me here. I got to remember to plug the channels and stuff, so I should say that here. So if you'd like to see content that's like faster paced and more edited, you know, better content when it comes to, like, I don't want to say better content, that's not the right way of saying it. If you'd like to see content that's highly edited, highly like highlights and, like, you know, quicker pace content that's, you know, like kind of almost like a quick overview of what's happened in the last week, just fast paced, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, you can go over to the Blue Titan Gaming, which is my main channel. And then if you want to see longer form content with all the ugly parts in it and all the outtakes and the misspeakings and me stuttering over myself like I'm doing a bit right now, kind of getting used to this and sitting in front of the camera, you'd think I'd get used to this after a while of doing it, you can head over to the Blue Titan Gaming Space VODs and see that full thing there too. I talk at length about strategy, things that I'm noticing in the game, things that I think are good design, bad design, feelings about just, you know, games in general. You know, just talk with the chat. I mean, yesterday we had 7 people in chat, and I was talking to all different kinds of people on Twitch and on YouTube. That was funny. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to have you there. So, but I need to stop that here. I need to get used to a normal cadence for how I deliver that. I might sit down and actually think about that, which feels a little bit, you know, bobbled, but it's probably a good idea just to start off by saying, you know, my normal "what's up, guys, I'm the Blue Titan," and then following that up with some kind of like a I kind of pitch for my other channels. I've done it a few times. It's just that if I do it the way I just did it, and I start off by saying, "What's up, guys? I'm the Blue Titan," and then I talk about the game, and then I go back to plug in the channel, and then I go back. It just feels like I'm hopping back and forth, and you probably should just do it right away. So anyway, that's a lot of behind the scenes. That's what's going to be on the Blue Titan Gaming VODs, is that me thinking out loud. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into some games here, because last time we were here, we did get ourselves set up for a solid situation here. The last time we were here, we ran out there and we took out that flesh, which was really cool. It was nice to immediately take that thing out at the start of the mission, because we had been talking for days, and I say days in real life, right? Weeks in gameplay, because every week in the game is, one dungeon. I think for the last 5, 8, maybe 10 weeks of in-game gameplay, like 2 or 3 nights of playing this game, I've been thinking about beating that flesh, and we could have multiple times, but I chose not to because the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. The item that he was dropping just wasn't worth anything. I was just I wasn't impressed by anything. And then last night, the very last dungeon, I was like, all right, I'm almost done for the night, probably gonna call it a night here. I look, and this guy goes, he's like, I'm gonna drop the Demon's Cauldron if you kill me this time. I'm like, oh god, the Demon's Cauldron's insane. This is one of the best items in the game, I think, for the occultist. I remember playing with this one of the first times I played the game, and I thought, yeah, I have to go get this thing because it's going to be a huge buff to what our occultists roll with. Most of the time, the occultists, I've just been giving them some generic, something like the Eldritch Slayer's ring, and then keeping them with us every time we go to the cove or something like that. This is a really good drop here. So I think the Demon's Cauldron, I could be wrong on here, but just looking at it, I think it's almost as powerful, if not equally as powerful, for the occultist as a tier 1 best in slot item as the blasphemous vial is for the plague doctor. I think they're both, I would say, yeah, I could be wrong here, but I personally think, I say wrong, there's probably some level of objectivity, a grand consensus. If you have 50 people, damage versus bloodsuckers isn't any good, and I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. This is solid. I don't know what you're talking about. But personally, just looking at this list here and talking about things I'm excited about here, I mean, we've been gathering some good very rare items here, and you just silently start to acquire these, and you don't really think about it, and suddenly you've just got a decent list of them, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I've got a good selection of choices here of things to kind of work with. And I mean, we culled some items down here earlier, I guess I can sell this sickening satchel here as we're speaking before I forget. We don't need 2 of it, and that's one of the things we did. We went through and we sold, whatever, a lot of our lower tier common items that I had no interest in anymore, that I thought we'd never use again, like the disease charm, minus 20% disease resist. I don't really care about this anymore. They're nice early, kind of extra little things that you can throw in your guys without any real cost, but as the game progresses, they're just never going to get used because you've got higher tiers items like this. I think that one thing, if I could go back and I could talk with the designers of the game, I think it might have been a cool idea if, instead of making it so that you could just wear whatever 2 items you wanted, it might have been interesting if you could select 1 item of every tier to carry. That way, over the course of the game, you don't feel like the common items kind of just become worthless. Because unlike, I say common items, I mean to say trinkets. Everything else in the game has a use no matter when you are in the game. If you have a tier or a level 0 character, or a is it resolve, right? Yeah, if you have a resolve level 0 person, they're not useless. They, as well as level 1s and level 2s, can do the low tier missions. And you might say, well, why are you doing the low tier missions the further you go into the game? Well, because maybe you don't actually have the resources to go after a higher tier mission. There is filler arcs in anime are useful. It kind of gives your characters time to develop, and it isn't useless to have your character go through and do these lower tier missions. Similarly, it's not useless to have your characters use non-best in slot trinkets. Maybe a rare, maybe an uncommon occasionally. The higher tier guys you have, you can do that occasionally if you're more focused on trying to keep your stress levels down and you're not trying to run the best item. For example, I might not want to run Junia's head because it's giving plus 20% stress. Yes, it's one of the best healing items in the game, but I might not need it. I might not need the extra heal because the mission is a short mission, and I can just bring my guys with something that decreases their stress, so that way when we leave that mission, which is probably a guaranteed success, because maybe it's a short mission, right, and my guy's level 4 and it's a veteran level mission, whatever, I might be able to kind of almost guarantee we're going to succeed, and I might not need that extra oomph, that extra trinket boost. You can justify running a lower tier item that's less pushed just to make sure that your guys exit without having any additional stress. That way you don't have to send them to get stress relieved. But when you get to like upper echelon missions, you're never going to use a low level trinket like that's like a common. And even at the lowest tier, you could still justify running with like a rare or like an uncommon. And I can't really see a situation where when you're this far into the game, like mid game even, right? And I'm just starting the mid game in terms of like the amount of the kinds of bosses we're about to start fighting. We haven't fought a orange tier boss yet. We're kind of setting up for it, but we haven't even got there yet. But we've now just finished all of the green tier bosses, and I've got enough very rare trinkets that in my mind, I'm like, why would I ever run with a common item again? Unless I literally just happen to not have an item at the rare level even to kind of slot on that character. I just don't see a reason why you do that. And that's weird because in this game, there are so many... I mean, there's so many things that make you feel as if everything has a use no matter what. Like, you can kind of use all the parts of the buffalo, as it were. Right? Like, at the lowest tier, your 0 level guys and your 1 level guys still have use. They're not getting tossed to the side and forgotten. You have, like, a reason to keep these low things around. The items aren't that way, though. So I feel like it might have been a cool idea if the designers of the game would have made it so that maybe you could, like, do like alchemy and maybe combine 3 items to make another random item of a tier above it or something like that. You could kind of like randomize them up. Now maybe you could make it more extreme. Maybe it could be like you turn 5 commons into 1 uncommon and then 5 uncommons into a rare and 5 rares into a very rare. That'd be fine. I don't care. But what I'm saying is make it so that they're not just cash value, because later in the game there's really not a lot of reason to take them home because they're only worth like 1,100 or so gold. And a stack of gold is just worth more. And you can't, like, store these in any other real way. It's kind of like how the citrine as, like, a gem is functionally irrelevant. Like, I mean, there's not really a stage in the game I would want to keep a citrine outside of tier, like the apprentice tier, the green tier missions that are, like, short missions. Because at that stage, like, you know, the lowest tier mission where it's, like, a short mission, you really are just picking up whatever you can pick up because realistically there's no... You don't have a lot of items. You just have all this space and nothing to take home because it's a pretty like slim pickings treasure mission, as it were. But when you even make it up to just medium or long tier missions on the apprentice level or a regular length short mission on a veteran level mission, once you start going up the ladder a little bit, there's never a circumstance ever you would take citrine as a gem, right? Even if you were to, I think there's a blueprint that increases the amount of gems you can carry or something, isn't there? Mike, I'm almost certain there was something that increased the amount of gems you can carry. Is it in here? It might not be in here. Oh, there it is right there. Geological study hall. Gem inventory stacking is increased by 1. I just don't see how good is that really? Most of the time, in my estimation, the most common... Okay, so the low tier gems you don't want to keep. The upper tier gems you want as many as possible, but you don't find a lot of, right? So it's an inverse relationship. Most of the time, the kinds of gems you're going to be taking home are going to be emeralds, occasionally jades, but mostly emeralds, and then you're hoping to get like sapphires. You're not going to find rubies very often. They're pretty rare, and sapphires themselves are also pretty rare, but not as rare as rubies. You're going to find quite a bit of citrines and jades. Jades are worth keeping to some degree. You know, they stack up to, I think, 1,875. I did the math on last episode. Or maybe it's 1,825. It really doesn't matter, but... No, hold on. Yeah, that's exactly 1875 because it's 1,500 plus an extra 375 because each individual one is worth. Yeah, the 1,875 is only just above a normal stack of gold, and then if you have the antiquarian, it's literally, you know, made obsolete to even bring jade with you. But the emeralds, they do stack well, right? You get 2 emeralds, that's already 1,500. You get 4 emeralds, you're looking at 3K. That's where it starts to be good to actually bring that. Then you get the geologic, study hall, and it's like, okay, now I can stack more citrines, but how many more? 1? So let me get this straight. A citrine stack, it's 250. I need 5 of those, right, to get to 1,250, which isn't even a full stack of gold. Why would I ever carry citrine? I mean, low tier missions aside, where you have nothing else and you'll just take anything you can get. So in my estimation, the way it should probably work is like, or just my opinion, this should probably have worked a little differently. In the base game, you should have probably been able to carry, like a tiered, kind of almost like a pyramid. Should probably have been able to carry 10 citrine from the start, 8 emeralds, 4 or 6, 4, 2, right, of each of the tiers, and then you get this geological study hall, whatever, and then it increases the amount of stacking by 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and it increases it by basically by 50% for each tier, and then that makes it so that at all stages, like the gems that you're gathering are still worth carrying, because the low tier ones can stack in numbers that supersede or are better than the gold. But then the upper tier ones are already better than the gold anyway. But then you have that little extra situation where maybe you get lucky and you can carry like 3, rubies. Now you might say to yourself, well, this is actually what you're suggesting though, is actually making rubies as well as sapphires weaker though, because the rubies and sapphires already stack in stacks of 5. How often do you find more than 2 rubies or sapphires? 1 in every 15 dungeon runs? That doesn't happen that often. Yeah, and you're talking about how much. Oh, hey Cole, you're saying how much Onyx is worth. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped past that because I forgot to mention Onyx. I did talk about it. I think I had it in my head, but yeah, you've got the citrine that's 250. You've got the jade that's 375. You got the Onyx that's 500. You've got the emerald that's 750. Sapphires 1,000. Rubies 1250. And the problem is they're all stackable in stacks of 5. And then when you get this blueprint, they stack up to a stack of 6. But why? Like, that really is only buffing emeralds and onyx and a little bit of a buff to like jade and to sapphires, kind of, because you're not really at upper. I mean, I guess that it's more of a buff to jade than it is to sapphires, because you will keep. If you find 2 emeralds, you're holding them the whole mission, because it's already 1,500 gold. It's already worth a stack of gold. And if you get 2 more, then it's crazy. It's 2 stacks. It feels really good to carry emeralds. It feels really good to also carry like an early sapphire. But if you get a sapphire late game, it kind of feels bad. Same way with ruby. I will speculate and take either of those over a stack of gold in the early game, because you can literally, I mean, although that's usually not a choice you have to make, but those have a higher potential ceiling with very low cost to actually carry them, right? Whereas a stack of gold might be 1,500 gold. A sapphire is only 1,000 gold. If you miss and don't get a second one to stack up to 2,000 for an optimal run of getting everything on the way back home, stacking your inventory as efficiently as possible, you're not super disappointed, because it's minus 500 instead of plus 500, but you're kind of over time regressing to that 1,500 mean. It doesn't really matter. You're still making out like it's a normal stack of gold on average. Whereas the ruby, you're actually making out above, assuming that you have a similar amount of times that you find rubies compared to sapphires, but that's probably not true, so you could probably throw that out. But the issue I'm having, though, is that the onyx, and I didn't mention the onyx before, if then the jade is worth stacking, so then is also, you can just kind of guess, the onyx. I said the onyx is essentially like what I was talking about with the jade. So I would say that this little buff to the geologic study hall is essentially helping the emeralds the most. And then after that, it's helping in equal parts. Well, I'd say the emerald the most, because the emerald is probably the best gem in the game to find. Right, because obviously I'm talking in pure money. Clearly the ruby is, but you're more likely to find 3 copies of an emerald than you are to find 4 copies of an onyx. It feels like, or 2 copies of a sapphire. I feel like I find emeralds in stacks of 2, or like one of them here and there on occasion. It feels like they're more common in like chests, to just find them on the bottom tier of the chest, right? If you open up a chest, the best items versus the worst items, it just feels like you can find emeralds more often at the bottom rung of the luck than at the top rung where you find like rubies. And I'm happy to take an emerald early. I'm happy to take an emerald late if I have an empty slot, because I might get a second one and immediately becomes a stack of gold right there. It's very little luck to require to become a stack of gold here. What you're saying, do the jewels in the secret room chest count as gems? You're talking about the trapezohedrons. Those are different because they don't stack at all. Trapezohedrons take up an entire slot on their own. So I mean, they're gems in conversation, but they're not gems as far as the game is concerned. They can't even stack. But the big issue I have, though, is in terms of like the value of this little geologic study hall. That's a lot of resources. I mean, I don't even really know what this is. I know dreams are an entirely different thing. Like the resource it takes to buy this. All of these 1, 2, 3, 4 first things, the miasmal orchard, the tainted well, the geologic study hall, and the mill. These 4 things are all from the what is it again? The Fields of Madness, or what? The Court of, no, not, whatever. The Madness. the HG, well, you know, Cthulhu-ish, like otherworldly horror kind of stuff with the crystal shard focus DLC. These all came from that mod, or not mod, official mod DLC. But that's a lot of resources for these things, and I mean, realistically, there's a few of these that are cool. I mean, I think the mill would be insane. Heroes no longer suffer random hunger checks. Are you kidding me? I would love that. But I gotta go get these things called memories. I don't even know what those are. I know how I'm going to get them. It says memories can be found by the Endless Harvest quest. I've never done anything with that before, so I got to go do that, I guess. But we just haven't got to a point. I want to have at least 3 guys, preferably 4 guys that are level 4 in order to go beat the Miller. Because I have beat the Miller once. He's the first boss at the farmstead, and I do want to go beat him, but I remember him being kind of a pain. So I want to go do that, but I just wanted to make sure I actually had some guys that made it worth going there first, and not just get wiped. But these other things like medicinal herbs add disease debuff, add disease resist buff. It's the opposite of a debuff. Anti-venom adds a blight resist buff. Like, it kind of adds these extra quality of life things. These are cool things. I like them. But I just feel like the quality of life things that these other things are offering are better than the Geological Study Hall. I feel like this would have been better designed if they had changed the way stacking of gems worked. If they had just made it from the beginning that you could stack 10 citrine, and I guess now my math is a little odd because now you add in the onyx that Cole had mentioned over here on YouTube here, like, you say, like, it'd probably be 12 citrine. Yeah, 12 citrine, 10 jade, 8 onyx, 6, just kind of going up the stack here. You kind of get the point. I guess it'd be, what, 6 emerald? Yeah, then that's a lot of money already. And then each one of those you can progressively move up. And then you could go like 4 sapphire and 2 ruby. And if the game started off by allowing you to stack things that way, then what would happen is over time, eventually you'd be like, man, occasionally, like, wouldn't it be so cool if I could stack 3 rubies, or, like, you know, it'd be nice to be able to carry 4 sapphires. But in the early game, you're never going to reach that cap nor care about it, so it doesn't feel punishing. And then by the time you hit the later game, you're kind of looking to push things a little further. Then you're like, okay, oh, yeah, this is something I could use now. I don't feel like I need it early, but I could use it now. And then the cost kind of makes sense for this 125. I don't even know how much of that thing that is. 125 whatevers that is, crystals, I'm guessing. The weird thing is, if you look at the resources here, this says 10 memories, I think is what these are called. 10 memory. Oh yeah, up here on the left side. I have 0 memories. They're kind of like blueprints on the left side over here by district. You can't see it because you can't see my mouse. Over here where it says districts at the top left hand corner of the screen, if you look underneath the blueprint symbol, there's 2 little icons that have 0 written beside them. The blue one, well, they're all blue. The bottom blue one that has 0 beside it is blueprints. We know what that is. That's what we use to buy the core base game things. You need a blueprint plus the other random resources, gold, or, you know, whatever the 4 main resources are in the base game that you bring home other than gold. But this, I think, is memories. And then down here there's also crystals, and I'm guessing it's memories and crystals. The weird part is these 2 icons are distinctly different from each other, but they're also different from the shards thing at the bottom. And I'm not sure if this shards thing is the same thing as these up here. Like, is this stack of 99, 99, and 125, are they the same thing as shards? I'm guessing. I mean, we'll find out when I hit 99 of them, but I don't know. So, I don't know. I need to go grab some more crystals and go do more of that stuff. I probably should go do more of that. But like I said, I wanted to get to 100,000 gold, because if I get to 100,000 gold, then our bank's going to start, like, you know, controlling the money part of the game, and then I can start focusing on gathering other kinds of resources, and then I can really start doing. I mean, we're in a pretty good spot already, but like once I start to go do that, then I can start to engineer my people's like quirks and stuff. And anyway, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. I'm kind of getting excited thinking about that. That's funny. It says, so the study hall wouldn't allow trapeze agents to stack in stacks of 2. Oh, I see what you're saying. Never thought about it. If that was the case, that would be really cool, but also super niche, right? Because what you're describing is there's one circumstance where that's good, and that's if you find a treasure room, right? Because as far as I can tell, I can think of 3 ways in the game to get trapezahedrons. One is to kill the Collector, which is a boss we've never even seen yet. He's one of the roaming bosses. Hint, hint. That's a spoiler. The Collector is a roaming boss similar to like the Shambler, who we haven't even seen. He's in the base game as far as I can tell. We just haven't seen him yet because we haven't had a circumstance arise yet where we would have attracted him. And I don't want to spoil that for anybody who hasn't seen him yet, but we will run into him eventually. The other situation is the Shrieker. If you destroy the Shrieker's nest during that fight, you'll end the fight with a trapezahedron. And then outside of that, the only other way to get it, as far as I know, are the secret rooms. Shambler is in the base game, yeah. So Shambler's base game, and then after that, the other roaming bosses are the Fanatic, which is from the court, the Crimson Court, and then the thing from the Stars, which is from, you know, what we were just talking about. That, like, I think it's the Colors of Madness DLC. I think I said that right this time. I don't, just came into my head this time. But there's also this other roaming boss called the Collector, who somehow we've managed not to see yet, which is, we could have seen him multiple times, but it just hasn't happened yet, which is kind of surprising, actually. But he might not appear, I don't know, under certain circumstances if you haven't beat all the first tier bosses or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure what causes him. I know what causes him to spawn, but that's why I'm saying it's strange, because I think there's been multiple situations where he could have spawned and he hasn't, which is surprising. But I know that if you kill him, he drops it to Rapizahedron 100% of the time. One time. Every time. All right, let's see what we got here for extra guys, because we ended our mission yesterday and we didn't look at these guys. Photomania is great. Hard Noggin is also good. Fear of Mankind's not good, but I'd lock both these. Hard Noggin's not as good on these characters as they are. Like, okay, Hard Noggin is really, really good on riposte characters that have the ability to attack after they get hit, because if they get stunned, then the riposte doesn't trigger either. So it plays like double duty on that. It protects them, but it also protects them from their riposte no longer working. Hard Noggin is also good on characters who, like, you know, your healers and people like that you just absolutely need to be up because they're your safety valve, and if they get stunned, then you could just suddenly have a, you know, it's like a point of failure, right? It's like, you know, if the enemy attacks your healer and kills that off, then they can kill the rest of your team afterwards because you have no recourse to come back from the fight. But in general, 15% stun resist is just good, right? So, like, this is fine. I would say this is, like, on a frontline kind of tankier guy. This is, like, less good than, like, Clotter, but, like, still pretty solid, like A-A. I would lock this on this character and be happy. I'd be fine with it. And the thing that you got to remember is, in this game, you're okay with, you know, you're never, like, trying to maximize. You don't need to be like, okay, all my guys need to have S-tier perks or quirks. You need to just make sure that they're all plausibly decent and lockable and useful, and then over time you'll incrementally level up over time. But accept the fact that, you know, sometimes you'll have to lock a tier B, like a tier B or something like that. And I say tier B, these are all based off of just like gut experience, what's good, what's bad, what feels all right. All right, so I think I would take this guy if I have a spot for him, so I may consider bringing this guy. The problem that he's having right now is that he's level 0, which means that I'm going to have to reinvest in all these things, but that's okay. We're now at the stage where I'm willing to cut people that are even higher tier that have a bunch of locked bad quirks, because now I've got enough money that I can start playing this game of locking people's quirks and getting these people set up for greatness over time and not feel so bad that we've got, you know, all these guys with locked bad quirks like the Yips, which we just keep getting trolled by. All right, Natural is great, but this is no longer the early game. Natural is awesome for the first, like, 20 weeks of the game. After that, you never want to use it anymore, because then you actually have good trinkets. Hard Noggin again? 2 Hard Noggins in a row here. Flawed Release is a great one on this character, because, you know, minus 5% crit to range skills does nothing on a character that has no range skills. So that's a pretty good combination. I'd take this character. Let's look at the other ones here real quick. Clotter's good. Bleed Resist is great. We don't miss in the spot, sucks. Robust is whatever. It's so funny. 15% bleed resist, 15% disease resist, right? They're like pulled from the same cloth. You're thinking is they're both just as good. I don't think so. You bleed perpetually in this game. I mean, everything just, you know, just get hit by things, you're just bleeding. But how often do you get diseases? This thing's best case use is at the Warrens, or it also plays double duty against the Crimson Curse. But I mean, I really don't care about the Crimson Curse protection. I mean, as we've seen before, like, you know, over time you can eventually not, I don't want to say trivialize it. The Crimson Curse is super annoying early. Like, real annoying early. Because you don't have the method, or I guess I want to say the mechanism, or the means, let's just say means. You don't have the means to consistently gather blood. And to go into the maw of, you know, hell itself, into the Crimson Curse itself, and go and gather that resource puts unnecessary risk on your non-Crimson Curse infected people. You almost need 4 people to make it justifiable. That way you can actually bring a team who can't be affected by it. But the thing is, early game, you know, you really need that time to gather resources in other ways, to level your guys up in other ways, and do things like that to get snowballing and get going. And so it kind of feels bad to go take a turn off to go fight against the Crimson Courtyard. But you kind of almost have to early, because you need to go deal with the Crocodilian, because if you don't, we saw early, if you play with the Crimson Courtyard DLC installed, the first, like, 5 weeks of the game, well, first 10 weeks of the game, you get 3 guaranteed good events that are like part of the base game if you have the flagellant and if you have the like the shield breaker DLC, because those are like guaranteed to trigger in like weeks 3 and 5 or something. I can't remember. But the other weeks will always be over and over and over again that stupid maddening wine thing, which is like the mosquito. So you have to go and beat the crocodilian and beat the very first mission, because if you don't, then you just never get a good weekly event. And as we just saw this week, those weekly events, man, I just got one, right? We just got the labor force. This labor force thing gave us a free building upgrade, and I already said this, I'm gonna say this again. It gave us tier 5 of my blacksmith for free because I was on tier 4 already. And that's like, do you have any idea how many free crests that was? And it's not even the crests are like the weakest part of it. It gave us probably, I can't do the math here because I don't know what tier 4 was, because this is, I don't know what the cost was, because this said free underneath it and this said free underneath it as well, but we were 1 tier above already in weaponsmithing, and I was able to jump to it. I literally have tier 4 or tier 5 already unlocked for weaponsmithing, and I don't even have tier 4 unlocked for armor smithing. It's funny, but this just saved us probably an entire inventory, and maybe an inventory and a half of just raw resources we would have gained over 5 or 6 or 7 weeks if we were hunting them. That's crazy. We would have never got that if we had Crimson Court on and just ignored the courtyard, because every week would have been the Maddening Wine. So you do have to go do that, kind of deal with that at some point, and so yeah, put your guys at risk. And it sucks because you have to dip your toe in the pool to be like, all right, you know, I don't want to catch the Crimson Curse, but I got to beat these missions. I got to get out so I can actually stop hearing this maddening wine. But then in so doing, you then release the Crimson Curse to the world, which then makes it more tough to deal with, because then you have higher chances. Anyway, early game, the Crimson Curse is annoying, but as the game progresses and you kind of optimize, I honestly think, as much as I've heard, like literally yesterday on Twitch, somebody joined the chat and they were like, "Oh man, you're playing with the Crimson Courtyard installed? Like, what are you? Are you a masochist?" Like no. Everybody says don't play with that. I'm like, I think it's cool, because early game it's annoying, but as the game progresses, I think it's a buff, and that's something I've talked about quite a bit. You're like, what do you mean it's a buff? Well, you can literally walk around with a guy wasting or like craving, and then right before the fight give him a blood, and all of a sudden he gets a 25% attack steroid. I'm like a leper. It's crazy. It's literally like having your flagellant have rapture as trigger with almost none of the downsides, right? Because he's just hitting for 25% extra raw damage. And yeah, there's some downsides to it, don't get me wrong, but like if you time it right, it's like I'm thinking about like games like Bethesda's like Oblivion or things like that. Like it's like vampirism, right? A lot of the times it's a downside, but like right after feeding, your character's super strong. It's actually a buff in certain circumstances. So, but anyway, I could just talk about this game all day and not even play the game. It's so funny.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
I just want to quickly say this too, because I'm not sure how many people have seen this. I mean, just for anybody who hasn't seen this, this is where on this center location here, this Ancestors' Memories or Memoirs, but functionally similar, all of his physical objects that contain his memories, his memoirs, whatever. If you look at this location in the center of the map, you'll notice a lot of times every week, you know, if there's ever people gathering in the town for some reason, it's usually related to this location. This is where the builders are hanging out right now for this week, where we get the free event to upgrade our blacksmith. If you click this, down at the bottom, this is where all of those journals we were gathering are going, right? So we've been gathering journal entries. Now, we don't have all of them, but that's why I said, like, gather them as you can when you have space, because they tell a story as you kind of go through here. If you click it, it kind of tells you what's going on, and then eventually you can kind of read through the lore behind the game and stuff. And that's what I was saying. As far as an indie game is concerned, this game actually has a lot of lore, and for people who are super interested and really like this game, there's something else I should probably tell you. If you go to the wiki for this game, every character in the game has a comic book that was made to tease them when the game came out, I believe. I've seen at least 3 of them, but there's like a comic book panel, and like I remember seeing the flagellant one, and he's like, it's one of the first ones I saw, which is probably one of the reasons I like the character, because it kind of like turned me interested into the game. I was like, what is this random thing? I just thought it was cool. And it's like he's hanging out in front of a bar, like he kind of, you know, some guy gets in an argument with him and kind of tries to hit him a few times, and he realizes suddenly the flagellant likes being hit, and he's like, oh, he thought he was like picking on the guy for being like a poor guy, like begging for money, and so that the flagellant starts like, you know, like kind of mocking him for hitting him so weakly. It's like weird and interesting. I don't know. It's like a really cool story, and it's quick, but you know, and a bite-sized thing, but it kind of gives you a taste of what the character's flavor is like, and this game did a very good job of developing that. There's a lot of that here throughout these little story, like little snippets, plus the narrator, which is just an enormously, like an amazing amount of heavy lifting for the lore in this game. But anyway, I want to I want to play. I mean, I can sit here and talk about it all day, but I do want to play too. So let's look and see. As I said, I'm going to sort my team. These 4 are no longer like the core people we're bringing. They were all the people who I brought to fight against the flesh, so I don't really need them with us anymore. Oh, wow. We might consider going to do this. Before we say anything here, this is Silence in the Crypts as a mission. And if we do Silence in the Crypts, then that means the next week we can go and beat the Necromancer. Oh, man, he's got the Legendary Ratio this week. I do want to get that item. As I said, that this might be my literal favorite item in the game. I like it a lot. And there's some good items rolling here. Oh, yeah, the Book of Sanity. Minus 20% stress. Just... That's crazy. You know what's actually really funny, though? This item, minus 20% stress, it's a very rare item. Isn't there literally Solar Brace that we found that does the same thing, but it's like just a rare? Oh, minus 20% stress if the torch is above 75%. Okay, so in a lot of cases, it's just as powerful. Yeah, I think this item, pound for pound, at its tier, is a better item. Because even though it requires you to be above 75% of the time, or above 75% of the torch, you're probably above torch more than 75% of the time. So this is most mathematically, let's say you're above the torch more than, or 75% of the time or more, then this basically reads minus 15% stress, right? Functionally over the course of the game. So I think this is pretty good, like for its rare tier. Book of Sanity is solid though. I just don't know how much better it is than something like, let's say, the Book of Holiness, which gives minus 10% death blow resist, but also provides that 20% stress. Early game, the death blow resist doesn't really matter that much. And this is when you're going to find this. I think Book of Holiness is a better item, honestly, than the Book of Sanity. Because you can get it early. The death blow resist doesn't matter early enough because most of the times in the early game, you're not taking so much damage that your guy just gets crit killed. I mean, against certain bosses, yes, we've seen against, like, the Chevalier who, like, you know, does that underground attack from the my brain almost said Shivering Isles. That's from Oblivion. But from the Crimson Courtyard, the Chevalier attack that'll hit, like, just crits and hits you for, like, 15, and then the other one, there's, like, 2 guys with, he can just two-shot anybody in your team. Then it can be good because the extra death blow resist. But we're talking about like margins now. We're talking about very niche scenarios where I want to have that extra death blow resist in a mission where there's a high amount of stress. But I actually do think that this item's solid. I feel like the Book of Sanity could have easily been 25% and nobody would have blinked an eye. Because really, in most cases, I feel like the Solar Crown just literally is the same item. But it is a cool item to have because now you can make the argument, what if you just want to carry both? Sure. I mean, yeah, I guess you could do that too. But anyway, I'm looking at these different, like, missions here. We already have this item, we have this item, we have that item. We don't have the dark tambourine. We have the bright tambourine, which actually, or the light tambourine, bright or light, semantics, but bright, yeah. Which is kind of funny because minus 25% stress if the torch is above, plus 15% stress if the torch is low, and plus 20% stress skill, like, relief. So this makes your Jester basically, like, the best stress reliever in the game. This item is incredible. I love the bright tambourine. This one's weird though. It's like minus 12% death blow resist. Okay, so my Jester is going to be harder to kill. Minus 25% stress when the torch is low. Okay, so again, he's going to be harder to make go crazy or go, you know, whatever. Plus 10% virtue chance. Okay, so this is one of those items that can really, really make you just... You can push an enormous amount of damage and do absurd things on torchless mode, but things have to go right. And it's critical that the first person that goes into either virtuous or into afflicted goes virtuous. If that first person triggers that, then the rest of the mission is going to feel, in some ways, I'd probably say stronger than a normal run with the best items. But if you can get like 2 of them, and the 2 of them hit virtuous, then it's just going to be crazy. I could imagine you could do some absurd things on that. But I feel like it's also like more of a challenge run type item than it is anything. I don't know. Unless there's something that I don't know about the game. Because the thing is, I don't know about the Darkest Dungeon. I still haven't done this mission. And this is like a way later thing, right? Darkest level 6. I don't know almost anything about this mission type. I'm wondering, and I'm kind of afraid that this mission is pure dark. It's the Darkest Dungeon. I've wondered that for a long time, and I don't want it spoiled for me. I don't want it spoiled. But I'm curious if that location, which is one of the parts of the game I've never got to. I've never beat all the red tier bosses. I've only beaten a few of the orange tier, so we're almost to the furthest I've gotten in the game. But we're now starting to see events trigger that I've never seen trigger. For example, like we saw the Gibbous Moon trigger last time we were playing, and that was the one that made it so that all of your idle abominations just level up one time, which is kind of cool. I'd never seen that before. But I'm wondering if the darkest dungeon is like perpetual darkness. And if that's the case, suddenly these dark items are a lot better than I give them credit for. I mean, they're good. They are, especially if you're playing torchless and trying to push early, like gaining a bunch of extra resources, because as we've said, you get better loot whenever you're fighting in pitch black. But there's so much bad that goes on top of that. The crit hits, the chance of you missing, stress is higher. It's just so oppressive to be on the... I will occasionally let the torch go out and fight a few of those to try to get some extra loot and kind of push our team. But like fighting all torchless, you've got to have a critical mass of good items that let you do it, that all trigger for low lights, plus just generically good items, you know, that you'd want to run in general, like maybe like the focus ring and things like that. But then in addition to that, you also have to have like a reason to do it that's like more than, I don't know, like a challenge. I don't know if there's, unless you're literally just doing it for a fun challenge, I can't see any real like what's the upside of fighting in pure black? In pitch black, you do get better item drops, but you'll get that over time by just playing over time, because over time, the more you play, the odds are you'll just find most of the items anyway. I don't know. There's got to be something else going on. I'm just not privy to, or I haven't learned or figured out yet. I haven't put two and two together, but we'll figure it out eventually, hopefully. All right, but as I said, I've got pretty much every item on this list. The only items I'm actually interested in here are, I would use the Book of Sanity if I get it. I mean, minus 20% stress, just flat out. I roll this item on quite a few characters. I could put this on a number of guys and find value in it. You could throw this on your, you could throw this as well as the, I wouldn't want to run with the Book of Holiness, but I guess I could. This plus the Solar Crown and get minus 40% stress, throw it on your Flagellant, and then constantly use the, his like endure ability and steal stress from people, and then he's just stealing it from them, taking it to himself and turning 10 stress into 6, and just keeps moving it onto himself, and he just becomes the stress, like, you know, remover. And that way it's like a unique and a different way of doing essentially what the old Banjo clown does too. But all right, before we get into a mission, whatever we do, I know for sure I'm not taking Drew with us. He's got some issues here. He's got the worries, which we're going to take care of right now. I'm questioning whether or not it'd be better to like send him to have, it'd probably be better to have him go do this first. And then after that, I have the clown go do his thing too. Grey Rot's bad. Ugh. Otherwise, I pretty much think we can take anybody else with us. I don't know if anybody else has high levels of stress. Marisco does. Marisco has a little bit, like 50%. It's not really a big deal. We don't really care that much about that. We could just kind of let her chill if we wanted to. I mean, she just did a mission with us. Again, one of the things I'd forgotten, but we've been picking up the last few days that we played the game, is that I guess you like slowly lose stress over time, like maybe 5 stress a week. And then the only reason I figured that out is because when I was in here, I saw this little thing that says Puppet Theater, idle stress in town is increased by 10 per week, not increased to 10 per week. If it said idle stress town or idle stress relief in town is now 10 per week, then it would be very different. But the fact that it's increased, and you know, it implies that you lose stress every week by just being idle, which I didn't know, but that's good to know. But yeah, so I've been talking here for a little while. Let's go really quickly and check and see. I got everybody out of my comp. I'm gonna look and see real quick here what classes I have, and I'm gonna see if there's anybody I can trade, you know, like character for character here. This guy has Photomania locked, which I do like, and Clutch Hitter is kind of not really what I'm looking for on him, but he does have Eldritch Hater. The downside is he has Crimson Curse, but I'm okay with keeping 1 or 2 guys around that have the Crimson Curse if they're actually worth keeping around, and this guy has Photomania, and he has Eldritch Hater. That's enough. That 2 of the best quirks in the game. You kidding me? I'm keeping him. He has Early Riser, which I locked. He locked Infirm, which I did not want to see. And he locked Deviant Taste, which I don't care about. That's fine. He could be one I could consider dropping. I haven't really spent much. I mean, I spent a little bit of money on him, but Early Riser is something I like, but Deviant Taste is something I want to see get locked, but I don't want to see Infirm get locked, because this is not minus 20% healing skills of his own. This is not minus 20% healing from whatever. It's minus 20% healing specifically from specifically from everything. Generically, from everything, which is awful. You know, that just feels bad in general. We don't want to see that on this, especially since he's a tank. He's going to be able to absorb more health and heals than anybody, and I don't want to see that in this class. That feels kind of bad. We're minus 20% healing received. This dude just does not like to heal. What is going on over here? Although Unquiet Mind is a good one. We do want that one. So I kind of look at this and I'm like, this guy's kind of a, he's kind of a project, right? He's not bad. I mean, Deviant Taste is a good one to lock. Early Riser's a good one to lock. We've got a good starting point here. Infirm's bad, so that would cost us 6,500 gold to get rid of, which does suck. But I would be okay with, like, you know, getting rid of these other... if I got rid of Infirm, which would cost us 6,500 gold, plus Aesthetic, which is like 600 or something like that, 650, because we've got the discounts and stuff now, and Wieldphobe, then I got to start asking myself, what are the other quirks he's got? And the answer is nothing. Like, Eagle Eye is literally irrelevant on him. He has no ranged abilities at all. And then minus 20% stress in the Warrens is, at this stage, I don't care about those little, like, extra things. These are cool early game, but they don't really matter as the game progresses. So the question is whether or not, the reason I'm looking at this is because as we had two, like, arguably good, like, good lepers. Like, Hard Noggin is solid, I would lock that. Photomania is good, I would lock that. Now, Hard Noggin is, like, A tier, as I said, but, like, Photomania is as good as Eldritch Hater. Like, it's that good. I mean, what did I say a second about Warden's Adventure, right? Warden's Adventure is minus 20% stress in the Warrens, but... Photomania is minus 20% stress all the time. If you want to do the math, as I kind of said before, I kind of hinted at this, suppose, you know, you have the torch above 75, 80% of the time. It's, well, let's say 75% of the time, make it easy math, right? Then it quite literally just says minus 15% stress. I would rather just have minus 15% stress at all times than minus 20% stress at some random location, right? It's pretty obvious why this is good, because this is set it and forget it. You don't ever have to even think about it. It's just always working. I would want to get rid of, like, yeah, this is probably just a better character than Evil. As weird as it is to say that, but, like, Evil's, well, I meant to say, Palmera. Right, Palmera has some decent kind of starting quirks to kind of lock. This is kind of a funny situation. I have, like, a bunch of, like, B+ tier, like, I think I have, like, 4 B+ choices right now for lepers. They're all kind of, like, build your own leper. Now I say that, actually, this leper's not really good. Hard Noggin is okay. It's a good, like, secondary, as we just saw in the previous one I was looking at. I would lock these two quirks because Photomania is so good that I'd be okay with just locking Hard Noggin and just having 2 good quirks to start. Ideally, I'd see another good high-tier quirk locking alongside Hard Noggin, or, like, another good serviceable, you know, B or A+ tier, A tier one, like maybe like a Clotter. Something like that, something that protected him from, you know, bleed, which would be good too, especially considering this class is, you know, already so resistant to blight. I don't know. This is an interesting question. I mean, at this stage, the question is, like, you can't look at this guy and go, like, well, you've already spent money on this guy to lock his early riser, right? Like, you already spent... It doesn't matter. That money's lost. That's the sunk time fallacy, right? Like, I'll never recover that money no matter what circumstances occurred. I can't go back and reverse time. All I can do is objectively look at the character now and say, moving forward, what would be the better opportunity? What would be the better character to invest my time in? And the thing that's working against this guy is he's already got Infirm locked, which is going to cost us, I think it's 6,500 gold, something like that. Oh, that's the wrong guy. If I tried to unlock... Oh, 3,500 gold. Well, that changed the conversation entirely. Wow, those discounts have been really adding up. Yeah, I did. I forgot I leveled all these up. 3,500 gold is way different. How much does it cost to lock a quirk, though? Okay. Just trying to get it to go back to net normal, not have a symbol beside it. But, oh, I guess that's because it was locked. It didn't have a choice. To lock it costs 5,250. Interesting. So at that stage, actually, cost-wise, getting rid of Infirm would actually not be that big of a deal. The problem is Palmera's the one that has... Okay, he's got Early Riser and nothing else going for him. He would cost the most over time to get rid of his bad quirks. Right, because he'd take 3 weeks to get rid of Infirm. I'd have to get rid of Infirm, and then I'd have to get rid of Aesthetic, and I'd have to get rid of Wieldphobe. And then he has nothing else that's actually good. Whereas Evil already has Photomania, and I could lock Eldritch Hater. The downside of this character, of course, being that he's sucking blood from us every single, you know, week. But again, like I said, that's not such a big deal if you've only got 1 or 2 people on the team that are doing that. I think it's, what do we have? 3, 2, 4? We have 1? Oh, dude. It's trivial. That doesn't even matter. Okay, I don't even care right now. We've got all the blood in the world, so we can essentially ignore his Crimson Curse. I don't even care about that. Yeah, so he probably is the better one to keep if I was going to keep one over the other, because he's already locked Photomania, and if I add in Eldritch Hater, then he's just going to be killing it. I remember Evil, because he was originally Evelyn, and we changed the name because it was confusing me at first, because I kept being like, it looks like a dude, his name is Evelyn. They just changed it to Evil, which is a pretty cool name, by the way. It's like evil, but Evil, whatever. It's a pretty cool name. But I'm thinking about this character. I do remember when we first played with him, he was the guy who, for some odd reason, he was literally rolling around for a while with, like, 2 good quirks, 1 bad quirk, then he had 3 good quirks, 1 bad quirk, then he had 4 good quirks, and then lost a bad quirk, and then gained another 5th one. He was rolling around with 5 good quirks and no bad quirks, and I was like, this guy's a perfectionist. But yeah, no, he's a good one. I could definitely see keeping him and then drop Palmera. Why I'm thinking about dropping Palmera here is because we have a my kind of like litmus for deciding if I keep a character is like, I like to do it like this: 1 good quirk is the bare minimum to take a character. After that, 1 good, well, I mean, if you don't have characters at all, you have to take whatever you can take. But supposing I have choices, right? I would take 1 good quirk and 1 bad quirk equally, right? If you have 1 good bad quirk that's worth locking, like let's say Winded or what's the other one? Risk Taker. Those are like 2 top tier bad quirks that I'm okay with locking, because Risk Taker's the one that just gives you like plus 10% damage and minus 10% like something stress or something. Not mine. No, that'd be good. What's that? What? I think we have one of these guys that has Risk Taker. There it is, right there. Plus 10% damage, minus 10 dodge. Sure, that's good. You know, in general, that's a good quirk. I mean, because you're really not trading much either direction. Yeah, minus 10 dodge hurts. You get hit in the face more, but this is actually hilariously good in this character. Good for the extra damage, because this is almost like trinket. Like, it's almost like a lower tier trinket that you're getting in terms of value. Plus, this character also has riposte, so he can like slap you in the face for hitting him. He doesn't even care that he's not dodging. He's like, okay, I have no dodge, but I'm going to stack a bunch of protection. That way, when you hit me, you deal almost no damage, and I'm going to slap you for it because I have increased damage, and I'm lowering my dodge, so there's a higher chance you hit me, so I can slap you and punish you for it. He's like, come at me. That's actually a buff on this character. That's really good. So, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, good bad quirk, right? Like, any good bad quirk, that's tier S good bad quirk. But, like, the good bad quirks that are, like, serviceably good, that I would take them on every character and be fine, because you can't always get lucky enough to get Winded, which is the one that's, like, -1 speed if you're below 50% health. Basically does nothing. It's not nearly as bad as, like, slow reflexes, which is just -1 all the time. But you can't always get lucky enough to get Risk Taker and Winded, right? You can't choose those bad quirks. They roll when they roll. What happens, happens. But if I can get any of the quirks that are like, can only drink while he's in town, like Tippler, I think is what it is. Unquiet Mind can only, like, you know, meditate, or there's like, or maybe it can't meditate, whatever it is. There's like, you know, Deviant Taste, like, you know, whatever. I guess it's like, you know, it's not allowed to go to the brothel. And then there's like that one that's like, it's like, you know, Secret Love or like Love Interest or whatever. It's like, can only go to the brothel. There's all these different ones that interact with specifically stress relief activities. I would take those 100% of the time and lock those 100% of the time on every character. And so if I see a character have one of those and a good quirk, like a Hard Noggin, a Clotter, a Photomania. Now, Hard Noggin and Clotter are both tier A. Photomania is tier S. Eldritch Hater, Beast Slayer, Eldritch, you know, like, you know, there's like 2 Eldritch ones. Eldritch Slayer, Eldritch Hater, Beast Slayer, Beast Hater. Anything like that, any and every time, if I get one of both of those, I'm locking them. If I can get 3, oh my god, I'll throw a character that's level 4 away for a level 0 that has that 3 quirks, because you can level them up. And then at this stage in the game, I've got 6,300 gold, guys, or 63,000 gold. I can start to afford dropping people for higher tier quirks, because now we're pushing better guys here. A Witness Can't Pray. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying. I want to have more opportunities over time to, like, over time lock these good quirks, and I don't really care about these characters that are rolling around with like weird quirks that are like this. Like, this character's got a lot of random things going. She had Quick Draw, which really sucks, and she switched it for Evasive, which Evasive is okay. But I've talked about this before. I think Evasive should have been 8 or 10 dodge. It just feels too little for like an actual quirk. 5 dodge is not the same as +5 accuracy. It mathematically is, but it isn't in practice in terms of overall gameplay, because the enemies, you have if everybody started at a range from 100 to 0 in terms of accuracy, and abilities didn't go above 100%, then it'd be different. But because it's not the case, I don't think that dodge matters as much. Plus, you can feel how powerful dodge gets when it goes high, but it's like really hard to get to high levels. And somebody in the Twitch stream yesterday mentioned that it used to be the case that dodge was even better, and they had to nerf it for that reason. I was like, oh, I could feel it, right? Even though I never played back then, I can feel it now even. Like, when it gets to higher numbers, it gets goofy. But like, it's really hard to get there. You have to almost build a whole team around it. So, but yeah, a character like this one though, like she's got winded, it's really good. She's got quick reflexes, really good. The rest of these abilities, unfortunately, she had quick draw, that was good too. They aren't that good. I don't really care about the rest of these. They're kind of bad. Actually, Curious is just flat out bad. Weak Grip on Life is also flat out bad. Bad Healer is bad, but not as bad on this character because she only has one healing ability, and I don't even think you can actually lower the healing below 1. So even though she's healing for 2, this Bad Healer makes it so maybe she heals for 1. I don't care. The reason you run with this ability is because it gets you off death's door. 1 health is still more than 0. I don't care if I'm on 1 health or 2 health. If I can get above 0, we're fine. This keeps her off death's door, removes blight, removes bleed, and gets her ready for another just absolute slapping for the next round. This is an incredible ability. Adrenaline Rush is insane, but as long as it heals for 1, I don't care what it does. If it could heal for 5, it could heal for 1. It's the same to me, as long as it gets her off death's door. I think this character, like the Bad Healer, doesn't really matter on her, is what I'm trying to say. It's not that big of a deal. Does it matter? Yeah. I mean, you know, over 5 uses, you can feel like you basically lost an entire heal, right? 20% healing skill lower on average over a long period of time. But Curious sucks. So I would easily come in here and I would say, like, I can't lock Bad Quirks, which is one down and upside of the game, right? You can't, well, no, that's all downside. You can't choose to lock Bad Quirks, which is one of the hard parts. But what you got to do is instead come in here and say, I'm going to get rid of Curious and I'm going to lock Quick Reflexes. I'm going to get rid of Weak Grip on Life, and I'm just going to, and then I'm going to get rid of Bad Healer. Now it starts to get kind of annoying. This is like 3 weeks of training to get rid of all these ugly quirks she's been developing over time. But if you can get her to lock Winded, and then maybe lock another quirk that you don't care about, like, you know, Love Interest or Witness, which was mentioned here, you said Cole, then you're in a good spot. Then you've got to consider a real like contender, because you have to remember that you can only, in the base game without mods, you can only lock 3 good quirks and 3 bad quirks. You can't lock all 5. When I first played through the game, did not understand that, and I was really like trying to kind of like optimize my characters a lot. And when I hit that ceiling, I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense, because it adds a little variability. Like, your characters can be prepared, but only so much, which is good. That way you don't just completely lock yourself into a perfect character every single time and there's no fun. What is this? Hunter's Talisman, plus 6% crit, plus 10 accuracy, and plus 50% food consumed. This is crazy good. 50% food consumed is whatever. Who cares? How do you even consume 50% more food? How does it calculate that? If I click 1 food on the character, it doesn't split the 1 food that I ate in the next food into a stack of 1 or 0.5. How does it do that? What? Is it like an internal counter in the game where if I click on the character, they heal for, if I feed them 1 food, then they eat 1. If I hit it again, then they'll eat 2? Then you just always give them an odd amount of food and you kind of optimize? That's weird. I don't know how that would work. To try this item. I actually think it's pretty good. 6% crit and 10 accuracy is literally almost on par with Focus Ring, right? 5 crit, 10 accuracy. 6 crit, 10 accuracy. This is better than Focus Ring. Minus 8 dodge plus food? What? Is this just straight up better? I'm buying it. What? What? Oh, this might be a thing I should start considering doing too. Start increasing the wagon size to get better options for items and stuff. I might consider doing that here soon too. Maybe the food quirk only affects camping and food check scenarios. It could, but most of the time, like things like Tapeworm, we saw that in a previous episode, where like Tapeworm, anytime I would heal, I'd have a random hunger. Oh, actually, hold on. You're talking about affects camping and food check scenarios. Yeah, it was a food check that it did trigger in. Yeah, but how would they calculate that though? It would still be the same question, because when you have a random food check, every person on your team eats 1 food. What are you gonna do? Eat 1.5 food? How do you calculate that? I mean, if it rounds up, then it might, and then it feels worse than it is. But realistically, at that stage, they might as well have just wrote, like they do on most items, eats 100% more food. I don't know. It's weird. I might have to play with that, see how it works. That's an interesting little, like, I've never seen 50% food consumption and increase before. That's weird. All right, so I guess I am certainly going to take Macy here. I'm not going to take, or maybe, that feels weird. This character to me looks like a dude. It's weird calling him Macy. Macy? I'd lean really heavily into the French thing. But I'm probably going to choose one of these guys to drop, and I really think I don't really care too much about Palmera here. Like, Palmera has Early Riser, which is locked already, and Deviant Taste, which is locked already, which is good. Although you could make the argument that I could just just grab one more of these guys and be fine with having a third. And that's fine too. Is there any character that I don't like here? Yeah, I don't like this Crusader. I could just drop this Crusader. Plus 5% crit melee skills. It's alright. That's not really what he's for. He doesn't really do crits as much, and he doesn't care about... Yeah, I could just drop this random Crusader who's level 1 that I don't really care about. He doesn't have any quirks that are worth anything, so... That makes this... I can kick the ball down the road a bit.
It is done. Turn yourself now to the condition of those poor devils who remain.
Yeah. And, you know, they're similar in class. I had a conversation with somebody in Twitch yesterday. Somebody was talking to me about how they didn't think I was, like, right. I was correct that, you know, a few characters were, like, very similar in their builds, because they were trying to tell me that they said, why don't you run with the Shield Breaker on this mission instead of the Grave Robber? And I was saying, well, they're basically the same class. And they were saying, well, they're not even close to the same. And I was like, well, I mean, not close is kind of an interesting take. I mean, obviously those two classes are closer together than, say, the Shield Breaker is to the Vestal, right? Would we agree on that? I'm like, well, yeah. So, okay, well, what makes a character class close to another character class? It's like, it's not the aesthetic, it's their functional abilities and what they do. And by my estimation, like, the Shield Breaker and the, you know, the Grave Robber are, like, basically the same class. Similarly, I would say the Crusader fills a similar role to kind of like a similar role in some ways. He's like half a, maybe he's like a third a leper, a third a man-at-arms, like a third a Vestal, right? Kind of in a way. Because he has like some healing mini-game things he can do, but he also has some like tanky, protective, huge DPS, like leader kind of tendencies, which is more like the leper. And then his middle section is almost like that tanky defensive kind of thing, almost, and he stuns a lot, which is kind of the man-at-arms part of him. So it's not always a one-to-one, but some characters do map pretty well. As an example, I would say, like, I'm mentioning this because I was saying trading a leper for a Crusader doesn't feel like that like big of a change on my roster. That's what I'm getting at. But back to what I was saying there to kind of defend that, I think that the Houndmaster and, say, for example, the Jester are very close to the same class, right? Think about what the two classes do. The Jester's biggest difference between him and the Houndmaster is that the Houndmaster has what's the ability called again? The stun ability. It's not... I said this before. I almost called it Blackjack. Last time I tried to say Ace in the Hole, which is an ultimate for from Caitlyn in League of Legends. But Ace in the Hole, Ace, card game, right? Like playing 52 cards. Blackjack, also card game. That's why my brain is trying to, I guess, just associate the two. But the Houndmaster has that Blackjack ability as stuns. There's nothing that's like that for the Jester. He has Finale, which deals enormous amounts of damage to a single target, right? But that's the super different part. The rest of it's the same, right? They both have an enormous ability to remove stress from teammates. They both have an enormous single target bleed. And they both have an enormous multiple target bleed. They've both got support. They're both kind of best in slot in the fourth and second slots. That's kind of what they're good at. I don't know. I think they're kind of similar, right? And that's my same argument when I was talking about Shield Breaker and the Grave Robber. They kind of fit the same role too, right? The Grave Robber and the Shield Breaker on their first attack, both of them have armor piercing, right? Like if you look, her first ability is Pierce, ignores armor. Similarly, Pick to the Face, armor piercing, same ability. They both apply an enormous amount of blight. Right? They both have the ability to kind of ignore fights for like a few rounds, right? They're super like, they're like agile kind of rogue style fighters, right? Where she can like, you know, step into the shadows with like her Shadow Fade and then kind of ignore damage for a few rounds because she's literally invisible. Whereas the Shield Breaker can put 2 blocks on herself and she gets those like short-term Aegis blocks where she can, on this ability I think it is, Serpent Sway, she'll give 2 blocks to herself and the next 2 abilities hit her just flat out don't. Not exactly the same, but kind of similar, kind of plays similar, right? If you were to borrow Magic the Gathering terms, it's almost like Indestructible and Shroud. They're different, but they're similar, right? They kind of have their kind of protective abilities. But to say like they're totally different is kind of a wild take to me. They fit the same role in a lot of ways. Yes, this character can segue with Impale. The Impale is so different than anything that the Grave Robber can do. The Grave Robber can't attack 4 targets simultaneously, but the the Houndmaster can use Hound's Harry and attack 4 targets similarly too. That makes these two characters the same. Are we going to say these characters are totally the same because of that one ability? No, but we can say they share that one thing in common. She's just doing a blight version of the Bleed's Hound's Harry. They're kind of like rhyming to each other. They're kind of similar, but there's almost no overlap between the Shieldbreaker and the Houndmaster besides that one ability, whereas the Shieldbreaker and the Grave Robber feel very similar. Like at least 3 of their core identities are the same. They block things, they armor pierce, they apply a lot of blight. And so that, in my mind, a lot of times I kind of think that way. I'm like, all right, so classification wise, I mean, not everything's a direct map, like the Arbalist and the Musketeer, who are quite literally down to the letter, the number, the same character, right? Because they were, one's a skin of the other one, right, for like early buyers of the game. But in terms of actual like abilities and what characters can do, I mean, really, there are classes that kind of have similar effects, right? Like there are some that are super different than others, right? The Vestal, there's nothing like the Vestal. You can be like, oh, she heals, but like there are other characters that heal. Nobody heals 4 characters simultaneously. What? And there's nobody like the Occultist. Nobody heals like this. You could say, well, okay, well, technically, I guess technically the Flagellant does. And he can also bleed himself while doing it, and this guy does a similar thing. So there is that comparison. But what I mean is this guy also, like, this guy can heal for an enormous amount to anybody in the game, but the Flagellant can only do it conditional on being below a certain amount of health. This guy can just throw heals whenever he wants. But this guy also uniquely has the ability to strip away protection. I don't know if there's anybody else in, maybe I'm wrong. Is there anybody else in the game that has something like Weakening Curse? Just removing protection from people, just lowering their max armor? I don't even know if there is another character in the game that does that. So in my opinion, there are certain characters that have kind of similar like effects, and some characters that are, you know, very distinct, but some characters do have a little bit of overlap. I don't think the Shieldbreaker's that different from, I think this is a pretty fair comparison between her and the Grave Robber. Anyway, but yeah, so we picked that character up, and then now we've got 3 Man-at-Arms, and we'll probably want to drop one of these. I don't need 3 Man-at-Arms, my god. So this one has Risk Taker and Precise Striker, which is whatever. Risk Taker's the only good thing he's got going on here. Otherwise, we'd have to get rid of the rest of these. Risk Taker is really good, but whatever. He's also got Unquiet Mind, which is, this one's got Unquiet Mind. Germaphobe's not good, and I mean, it's not terrible, but it's also not good. Misses the Spot is whatever on this character. He's not critting most of the time anyways. I don't even know if he can crit on, well, he can crit a little bit on Repost, but it's not very common. Like, the Repost don't crit very often. He doesn't crit when he, a 1 in 99, or I'm sorry, 1 in 100 chance to crit on his attack back when he gets hit. Whatever. Unquiet Mind would be nice to lock, so would Eldritch Slayer. This guy's kind of like, again, one of those characters who you'd kind of like to play him out a little bit and see how he develops. I'd lock Eldritch Slayer, but he doesn't have anything over here on this side that I'm like super excited about locking. Well, I guess, let me say that differently. I'm very excited about unlocking Unquiet Mind, but unfortunately he has 2 other things that have just as high of a probability of locking just by walking around a dungeon. This guy has Risk Taker. Look at this guy. He has Clotter, which is good, and then he's got Enlightened, which is good, and he's got Deviant Taste, which is good. He's got Compulsive, we don't like, and he's got Automate. This is the best guy in the list. He's got 2 bad quirks and 2 good bad quirks and 2 bad quirks. Right, we're okay with these 2 locking. We want to lock Clotter and see these other 2 get locked. I would take this character and keep him. Fortunately, of course, he's the level 0. That's how it works, right? And he's got Eldritch Slayer, which is good, and then Misses the Spot, Unquiet Mind. See, the thing is, you need to probably, it's probably safe to say that good bad quirks are more important early on a character than good quirks, because if he gets a good quirk and then no good bad quirks, and then you lock a good quirk and then he doesn't develop any good bad quirks, and then he locks all bad quirks, then you're just screwed. You can't do anything about it. But him having Risk Taker feels pretty good, because if he has this as his only bad quirk, you know he's going to lock that sucker, and you don't have to pay any money to do it. He just does it on his own. But looking at this though, he does have bad. Actually, he's got 2 good bad quirks too. He's got Risk Taker and Bad Healer. Bad Healer we're okay with, because he doesn't have a single ability that heals. I still think it's hilarious that these characters that have no heal ability can literally lock, or can develop a quirk like this. He's a bad healer. Well, I'm a bad healer too. I can't heal anybody. That's wild. I have this quirk in real life. What? I guess that's not exactly true. I could become a nurse, but you know what I mean? Like, it's an ability that this guy literally cannot, he doesn't have an ability to heal. It'd be, it makes sense if he had like bad stunner, but it's weird that he can develop a quirk that literally doesn't affect him. But I guess I've already talked about there's quirks in the game that say like lowered ranged accuracy on a character that's all melee, and I haven't had such an exaggerated response to that, but I guess that's an equivalent thing. Precise striker. He just doesn't have any quirks I care about on the good side, but that's okay. It's okay to remove bad quirks from a guy. I just don't. It just feels really weird to put a lot of emphasis on removing bad quirks from somebody, and they haven't even developed a good one yet. This guy's only got one good quirk. He's got one good quirk, which is Eldritch Slayer, one good bad quirk, which is Unquiet Mind. So he's a 1-and-1 guy. This guy is a 2-and-0 guy. This guy is a 1-and-2 guy. This is a clear keep. We keep this guy because he's got Clodder and he's got Deviant, Taste, and Enlightened. We would want those. So I could easily lock Clodder and remove Automatonophobia, and then also spend another week removing Compulsive and feel pretty good about him because then he's got 2 bad quirks he's going to lock. This is a good guy to keep around. And he's low level, so he's going to have a lot of time to develop bad quirks and good quirks. That's good. Oh, he's hitting the arrow button to make sure I see this. Sorry, I guess I didn't see it. That's a good idea, actually. It did make me see it when I saw your little arrows. I've never tried it or heard you talk about it, but is it possible to take 2 heroes of the same class on a mission? Every class in the game can do that, except the Flagellant. If you try to do that with any class, say, for example, if I put 2 Man-at-Arms in the team, they don't care. They'll all go together. They'll do it. But if you try to do it with 2 Flagellant, which unfortunately I cannot do because I only have 1, he will say something to the effect of, "My suffering is mine alone." Something like that. Like, he won't allow you to do it. He will refuse to let you do... Yeah, you could do 4 Antiquarians. You're a troll. It doesn't increase the amount of resources you would find, though. Remember, it's 1 Antiquarian interacting with 1 Curio. Are you thinking about doing it because you think it'd be really funny to see, like, infinite dodge? I can see why you're thinking about doing that. Everybody's spamming the dodge thing. The problem with that is, yeah, everybody's got infinite dodge, but you never do any damage. Like, everybody in the team has 0 damage. Yeah, dodge. Yeah, I figure that's what you're going for. Yeah, they don't do any damage. And also, you have to remember that you cannot completely remove the chance that your opponent hits. Maximal dodge in this game cannot supersede the hard-coded range of chance of hit in the game. Every ability in the game at max has a 95% chance to hit and a minimum of 5% chance to hit. You could remove your opponent's, or you could have your dodge be 200, and you have a 200% chance to dodge. Your opponent still has a 5% chance to hit. Even if their attack has a 0% chance to hit. That's because they want crit misses and crit failures, the kind of feeling that you get like in D&D where you roll a natural 1 or a natural 20. That way epic things can happen, and that way you can also, it also keeps you from gamifying and doing exactly what you were talking about right now with trying to kind of cheese the game and not allow the game to play. But it's a good question to ask. You know, good game designers do think about that kind of stuff and slap the players for trying to break their game, which is kind of the push-pull. That's what makes the games fun, right? If there weren't people doing exactly what you're talking about doing, then games would not develop well. We need people that try to break games to actually fix them, so it's good that they exist. All right, as I was talking about, though, here, like, let's try to select somebody here, because I'd like to get into a game here. I've been talking for about an hour, but I haven't actually played yet. That's a little bit longer than I normally do. That's wild. All right, so looking at my actual people here that are left here, I already said, like, it'd be cool to take this leper, but I don't really need him. We've already selected an extra leper too, so I'm kind of already at capacity there. I don't care about this guy. I don't care about Mr. Gifted here. These are irrelevant, and I don't really care. Oh, Clodder's good. Fear of Unholy's bad. So 1 Highwayman. How many Highwaymen do I have? 2? Yeah, okay. So he's got Eldritch Hater. He has Fear of Unholy that locked, which is stupid. But it's not that big of a deal, because I can lock Eldritch Hater and remove Fear of Unholy, and then I can lock Photomania and then remove Misses the Spot and feel really good about this guy, even though it's going to cost me a little bit of extra money. But this is two easy removals and 2 easy locks that I'd be happy with. And then just stay on top of whatever he locks. I'm fine with that. How about this guy? He's got Hot Trot, which is good, Torn Rotator, which sucks, and then other than that, he's basically just locked in with it. He's got a good quirk and a bad quirk. So this is an easy lock and an easy removal. So this is also an easy person to keep around. So this guy has got a Clodder, and then he's got nothing that I like. Clodder's really good, but is it worth getting rid of a person for that? No. The only question now is there anybody else who I have like 3 of that I'd be willing to drop for him, or somebody that just has a really bad quirk like this? Okay, so she's got Weak Grip on Life. We hate that. Oh, I hate it. I don't like it. It's not the worst. Hylomania we don't like. She interacts with everything. Infirm, she doesn't heal well. She barely ever heals. She's got Fortifying Vapors, so this is kind of whatever on her. Last Gasp is not good. Cove Scrounger's cute early game, but not really important. She's an easy drop. We could drop her pretty easily here. Thick Blooded, Blight Resist is good. Off Guard is kind of bad. -4 speed on round. Actually, it is bad on her because we want her to use fortifying. Why does she have to lock this, man? We don't want that because we want her to be able to activate and go fast, because if she doesn't go fast first round, then she's always one turn behind on activating her invigorating vapors instead of being first round and going very quick. Because if she had, let's say she had on guard instead, then that's a differential of 8 total speed. Then she's going to be going first every fight, which guarantees that she's going to be able to spam those invigorating vapors. Off guard might be one of the worst things you could possibly get on this character. I mean, literally the worst, because she goes last, and it also decreases her overall dodge. This is terrible. This is an easy removal if we keep her. The blight resist is hilarious because she's already kind of like, oh, never mind. This is +10 because of that. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, thick blooded's fine to keep on her. This is worth, it's worth keeping her around and removing off guard here. But I want to get rid of Baynard here. She's bad, so we're just going to drop her and pick up the extra.
Those without the stomach for this place must move on.
See, now I'm actually like, you know, I just traded kind of a similar, they're not in the same class, but at least I still have another Antiquarian. So now I probably want to protect the Antiquarian we do have and maybe start to develop her a little bit. Like, who did I put in here? This one guy? What is his deal? Okay, so he's in there. No, that's not the right guy. Sort by activity. Where's that at? Here we go. I don't use that often, but I need to now. Oh, it's okay. I was just checking to make sure. Oh yeah, there's only one person on our team that has the Crimson Curse. I'm watching out for putting a person in the treatment ward, because even while she's not in the same room as this person, if this person had the Crimson Curse, you could get infected across the hallway. You don't want the person to be in the same place. So I might actually start thinking about doing more than one treatment at the same time here soon. I don't have to do this right now. Sure, we could do that.
The front line of this war is not in the dungeon, but rather inside the mind.
Out of this narrator, I could if this narrator narrated my life, I'd be so much more productive. All right, so this character, we talked about this character. This character's also a drop. We're gonna get rid of her probably too. She locked Ashen, which is like a tier S+ bad quirk, one of the worst quirks in the game. Resolution is fine. Warren's Phobe is not good. Diurnal we'd want to get rid of as well. So she's rolling around with like resolution. She's got locked to the hot draw. She's not as bad as I'm giving her credit for here. I could just remove Ashen and then afterwards not be that bothered, because a Diurnal's not even going to trigger most of the time. -2 torch. -2 speed when the torch is below 26. Okay, I don't really care about that much. It's not even that big of a deal. Most of the time the torch is not that low. This is actually totally fine. I don't really care that much about this ability. But Ashen we'd have to get rid of. So this character's a lot better than I gave her credit for. I was thinking Diurnal was the one that's like, yeah, no, there's light sensitive, -20 or -2 speed or extra stress or something whenever the torch is above 75. It's a reverse. Diurnal's not that big of a deal. Although ironically, this class, the Hellion actually has the best nighttime ability in the game, or the best nighttime, or I guess torchless trinket in the game, the Hell's Hairpin. So she's actually like really good in torchless. She's got some really good stuff she can do whenever the torch is low, but we're not really playing that way anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of Ashen. I think this would be a good person to kind of lock something, remove something like that, because she's developing some bad quirks that I don't really care that much about. If she locks Diurnal, I don't really care that much. If she locks Resolution, I'm fine with that. She's not locking other bad quirks here. Getting rid of Ashen's fine. We'd also want to get rid of Warren's Phobe, and then just kind of allow whatever develops on the other side over here just develop on its own. Locking a bunch of good bad quirks I'm fine with, and then she can just randomly fall into, you know, or playing with her, and then she randomly replaces one quirk with another good quirk, and we get a few good rolls. That's fine. We could do that pretty easily here. And if we don't get rid of Ashen, then she can't lock another bad quirk, which we want to get rid of it for that reason. But the question is, do I really want her to do that right now, or could I just wait? Because if I wait until I get to 100,000 gold, just play a mission, then I can basically have as much money as I want. Then remember, when you get to 100,000 gold, then you're literally every week you'll just be generating 500 gold, which is like paying for the quirks themselves. So let's just get to 100,000 gold. I'm just gonna play and not like level anybody up. I'm not gonna lock quirks until I get to there. Then it'll just be trivial. All right, let's go do a mission. I think the question is, would I rather go try to fight this guy? Do I have class? Do I have anybody that's level 2? What is going on here? Oh, I sorted by class. Yeah, I do, but I don't have anybody. Oh no, I need level 3s and 4s. Okay, never mind. I could still probably go do this. Yeah, I could bring Theon here. Theon could whoop people here. You see, oh, hold on. There's also a thing from the stars here. Yeah, let's avoid this then. I don't want to fight a boss and fight a boss. and everybody's like level 4. People aren't maxed out here. I want people to be level 4 if I'm going to be going here, preferably. I could go here with 2 level 4s and 2 level 3s and fight the Necromancer and be pretty fine about it. But the fact that this has also got a thing from the stars just makes me go, ugh. Just, I'd rather have 4 level 4s if I was going to go do that. Let's see if I have... We could go do, like, was this a medium mission? I could bring some people here that... I need somebody that deals damage, piercing damage if I'm going to go here, because there is a chance. The reason I'm thinking about doing this mission is because this sets us up to go beat the Necromancer immediately after this. It's not necessarily required. We don't have to do that. We could go after something like the Book of Sanity. The one thing about doing this mission is it kind of locks us into wanting to fight the Necromancer next week, and there's no guarantee that it's going to be something good like the Legendary Bracer next week, and we don't have 4 level 4s. This is one of the reasons I talk about trying to get all my guys up to level 2 or up to level 4 or up to level whatever to kind of get ready. That way, whenever there's an opportunity to fight a boss and they've got a good item, I can just fire them off and get in there right when I'm ready to do it, as opposed to being kind of forced into a situation where like I don't have a choice and I kind of, you know, have to take whatever's there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into a game though. I've been talking about it for a little while. All right, playing for an hour and a half and I haven't played yet. I'm doing a lot of talking, not a lot of playing. All right. Item-wise, the only thing that's in this list that I'm even remotely interested in doing as a one-off mission is probably the Book of Sanity. And ironically, this same team comp would work there, which is funny. We're all level... Oh, never mind. What am I talking about? Level 4, level 1? This is a ragtag group of randos here. Can't do that. They're all level... Yeah, I couldn't do that if I wanted to. I'm probably going to have to get locked into something like this, because what my level 4s are here, I don't really have a lot of guys that are level 3 that are, like, prepared to go to, like, the Cove. Like, really, there's, like, one guy on my team that I feel like is good at the Cove, and that's Stay On here. Palmera's fine. Evil, they're kind of the same class. But the other guys are mostly, like, you know, this guy, the Crusader's really good at the Ruins, and the other guys are Bleeders. Like, good at, like, fighting against humans or Bleeders, and, you know, they deal damage against, at the Warrens and the Weald and the Courtyard. So it's probably better just to go do a green mission here. And in that case, like, I don't really need a bleeding pendant. I don't need any blood at all. I don't like the recovery charm. So the only item that's even remotely interesting here at all, only real mission I'd want to do is probably here with the protective padlock. It does suck that it would force us to do another Ruins immediately after that, but it's probably fine. All right, so this comp, I have to get rid of this character, and then I'm going to intentionally pick some higher tier people, I guess, here, because I want to make sure that if we end up against the thing from the stars, we actually have some means for actually killing with the dude. So we've got levels 1, 2, levels 1 here. I could bring a level 0 if I wanted to, but the fact that the thing from the stars is here, and this is a medium mission, does make me want to, like, lay a little heavier into the 2s and 1s. Maybe, like, 2 2s, 2 1s, maybe 3 2s and a 1. Need another frontliner. Somebody that can go up front that can actually, like... A lot of our frontliners have leveled up. I could bring Margus. We don't have a stress reliever, which sucks. Bitin would be fine, probably, too. Yeah, this would probably be fine. Then have him just be a frontline tank that can kind of move forward with Rampart. Give him... Bolster. Give him Retribution. Get rid of the dodge stuff. We don't really care so much about the protection stuff because we've got 2 healers here. Well, 1 healer and 1 guy that can remove, like, bad status effects. No bleed and blight. Dodge is not going to be an issue on this lower tier missions. Maybe I just give him Crush. I could give him, like, buff target plus 6 accuracy and plus 17 damage when guarded. But I'm not using guard allies, so that doesn't really do a lot. Oh no, this hits every teammate. We talked about this before. Is this good here? We've got 2 people that are, like, doing, like, heal slash, like... Accuracy is not really an issue, and crit's not necessary with this comp. I think I'd much rather just have something that just hits. I'm going to be ramparting, but I'm probably going to be using Crush occasionally to finish somebody off, too, so... Alright, I think this is okay here. And then with this comp here, we're going to just go and do this. What is this item again? Yeah, the Protective Padlock. Not a bad item. mean, it's not really why we're going here. We're really going here because I'm just trying to level these lower guys and kind of get them ready to go fight this mission. She's level 2, and getting her up into this third tier slot's not bad. I'd like to have the Vestal with us to go fight against whatever's in the ruins later on, but really what I'm trying to do is just try to make sure I have somebody with us that can take care of the fact that these guys are all level 1s. Because if we run into the thing from the ruins, it's gonna suck. I'm really just leveling guys right now. That's all I'm thinking about doing. And avoiding, like, making any real serious... Oh, look, he's got Eldritch Hater. Or Eldritch Slayer. Yeah, that's gonna be an accidental little nice thing. He can help us do extra damage to the thing from the stars if... Yeah. Hippocratic's funny. Yeah, I can switch over to... Oh, Disorienting Blast. I don't think I'm going to use Noxious Blast here. I think I'm going to... Because remember, Blight does almost nothing to the thing from the stars. Because he sheds Bleed and Blight. So really, I'm using the Plague Grenade to hit the back 2 lines against everybody that's not the thing from the stars. And then after that, most of the time, we're going to be using things like Emboldening Vapors and things like that. So during the fight and the thing from the stars, this character is probably just going to be doing things like... You know, emboldening. He's gonna go round 1, emboldening vapors. Round 2, emboldening vapors. Round 3, disorienting blast. I guess maybe stun something. There's no corpses though. I guess heal. Ugh. Maybe not. Maybe he's not good against the thing from the stars. Like this character just sucks against the thing from the stars here. Yeah, the damage charge is incredible. I mean, nobody's saying anything against this. Like emboldening vapors is one of the best just raw steroid abilities in the game. We're talking about against the thing from the stars. This character can't do almost anything against that character. Just kind of is what it is. Because the thing from the stars will remove his blight. The second he gets blighted, he'll just remove it. Well, not exactly. The thing from the... If he goes fast, then he can apply the blight, and then the thing from the stars will tick and get hit by it, and then remove it. But you can't stack multiple stacks of Plague Grenade on him, or I guess Noxious Blast either way, so... That's okay. It's not a horrible thing to just, like, Battlefield Medicine people. He's also got Hippocratic, so he's kind of healing people more than normal, so I can use this in between and remove things. But I will start the mission off by just using this on the Man-at-Arms. And the Man-at-Arms, again, in that fight, is going to be attacking, right? He's going to be using Eldritch... He has Eldritch Slayer, and I'm going to give him Crush so he can help. And then, of course, we've got the Shield Breaker, who's going to get the first steroid right away because she's going to be hitting non-stop with Pierce and going to be doing all of our damage, while our Vestal just keeps everybody alive by healing. So stress is going to be the biggest problem in this mission, but it is a low level mission, so it's not going to be that big a deal. Let's go ahead and load up on the items here. I'm going to take it seriously and give my characters good items this time instead of the lower tier stuff I sometimes don't care to worry about here. It's an interesting choice here. Do I bring an Ethereal Crucifix? Do I bring an item that helps us destroy the thing from the stars? I mean, is it really worth doing? I don't think so. I think I'd rather just like have the I mean, we're not hunting this thing. It's not the primary focus of the mission. I'll bring Dismas's head. She's already got pretty high base damages and like high base accuracies here. And then after that, I will give her the where's that at? The Solar Crown, just to offset the stress. And then I'll bring the old Man-at-Arms here. The old Man-at-Arms here, I could do a similar thing. I could probably just give him something like... I could also just give him the Tough Ring. And after that, I mean, I was thinking about giving him Barristan's head. Extra 25% protection. And then in addition to that, slapping on the... the old Book of Holiness. Something like that. Just give him, like, less stress. Basically just trying to give them base raw stats and then remove their... Although the problem with the Tough Ring is it lowers this raw damage by 15%. This literally offsets the Eldritch Slayer. Oh no, Eldritch Slayer doesn't increase his damage, it increases his crit and accuracy. Interesting. I don't want to have everybody be just relying on her for damage. Because we would have like a long fight. People would be really... We're going to be really strong for this mission in general. It's just going to be the one fight against the thing from the stars that's going to suck. Because the problem is we are very robust against dying. This team comp will not die to the thing from the stars. They will just be super stressed after the fight because the fight's going to go long because we don't have the raw damage to just end the fight in a decisive amount of time. And in order to do that, I have to essentially run with items that increase stress, which causes like this kind of like dual problem. In which case the question is, would it be better to like not lean heavier into his max HP kind of mini game, and maybe I could also just give him some like extra damage when the torch is above a certain amount, extra accuracy, whatever. Just give him like the sun ring, and that kind of offsets the tough ring. That's fine. And then after that, I'd like to give her something like the Seer Stone, because I don't really think there's anything else she needs. She's gonna heal enough. She heals a lot. She's level 2. This is a low tier mission. We don't need the extra heal. I'm just gonna throw a Seer Stone on her to get the extra, you know. Oh. Maybe I give him the surgical gloves. And then just... yeah, that seems fine. He's our damage. He is our damage dealer this round. Besides her, she's our consistent damage dealer. He's our raw damage dealer this fight, right? Because she's going to be able to always hit with her consistent pierce, but her raw damages aren't as high. They're just absolutely consistent. They will always hit for a solid amount, whereas he has the chance to hit for a lot. So he's going to be the one that deals a lot of, hopefully, the one that deals a lot of the damage that gets the thing from the stars to 50%, and then she's going to kind of take over, and he's going to do little amounts of damage to it, and I'm hoping Riposte will help quite a bit on that. But I don't know. We're going to have to start the fight with him using his +6 dodge and -10% stress, which is another great reason to have him on the team, because he'll remove some of that ridiculous stress we have to deal with on the thing from the stars. And then after that, everybody else is going to kind of be taken over. But I'll probably just go round 1, you know, Man-at-Arms uses Bolster, and then after that, you know, Plague Doctor hits the Shield Breaker with the Emboldening Vapors. Round 2, Plague Doctor hits the Man-at-Arms with Emboldening Vapors. Man-at-Arms uses Crush another round probably after that, and then switches over to something like Retribution and spends the rest of the fight basically just like, you know, marked and also hitting, because we need to make sure that we can hit for as... The problem is this character just has no ability to bleed. We don't really have bleed in general, and we don't have really any way to deal dots. She is going to be our primary source of damage over the course of that fight. It will be her, so we have to keep her alive. His dot, or her dot, I guess Plague Doctor's a girl, does nothing against something. I mean, it does, but it's just not as good. Just makes me wonder if I should pick a different character to bring with us, honestly. It's a medium mission. I don't know. We're not gonna be like, we're not gonna lose. We're gonna be fine. It's just we're gonna walk out a little stressed, which is annoying. After that, I guess I could probably just throw something simple on him like the survival guide. What's his chance, or her chance again, of removing a trap here? Really bad, actually. 70% chance. No, that's right. There's the base amount that's added to it. That's okay. You can just have this character be the character that does this. We don't. It's lower tier missions. Lower tier missions. So this is when it's a good time to cheese the extra scouting chance. I could also bring like an Eldritch Slayer's ring, but why? What does that do against this character? You know, I could just get rid of Dismiss's head entirely and just use something like Ethereal Crucifix. This would increase the raw damage against the thing from the stars, decrease her damage over the entire mission, but also decrease the amount of stress she takes, and like by a large margin. Instead of taking 20% extra stress offset by 20%, she just takes less stress in the entire mission, which would then make her deal extra damage against the thing from the stars, and no extra damage against everybody else, but she's already going to do a decent amount of damage against everybody normally, because it's just a Ruins mission. She can hit everybody for Blight, she can hit everybody for raw damage from her Pierce. I don't know. I just feel like that's super, super gimmicky. I could also make the argument of just taking the Berserk Charm, though. This is instead of 25% damage, it's an extra 15%, but this also gives 20%, this gives 15% stress. Nah. No, that's just worse. That's just worse. Are you sure you will face it? Of course not. No, there's no guarantee. That's why I'm saying, like, you know, it's really a game of, like, is it really worth bringing the Ethereal Crucifix at all against it? Ideal scenario with the Ethereal Crucifix, there's, like, 2 situations I can imagine you using this. One is against a well, really, maybe 1. Like, this is perfect if you're going to the Cove, and you're going to be bringing, like a Flagellant or like an Occultist who have the ability to bleed, targets, and this will remove the bleed, like, you know, can bleed himself. They can both bleed themselves, but also are already going to deal a lot of damage at the cove in general, because they have extra eldritch damage. Well, not the flagellant, but the flagellant also bleeds himself. But this would help the flagellant get extra damage at that location, though you're not usually bringing the eldritch, but bringing a flagellant to the eldritch locations. But any location where you're fighting against a boss who's actually like eldritch. There are some bosses that are eldritch despite being in a location that isn't so eldritch associated. Like I think there's like a boss, or at least like it was the Warrens that we saw. That was a eldritch. I can't remember. So build for the base mission, then do a sanity check to make sure that you won't get rolled by it when you pick out your what? Build. Well, yeah. I mean, the common sense thing is to build for the mission. If you look, I've built for the mission in general. I mean, everybody has built for the mission. The question is whether or not I could offset one item to optimize a little bit to kind of make up for the weakness of the team, because the weakness of the team is that these guys they're very robust against long-term fighting that's based on damage. Like, they're going to survive large amounts of damage. They'll survive it. They've got a lot of tankiness, a lot of healing. They're good against that. The question is whether or not they can handle stress, and they can't. Not really. And that's why I was trying to give her a stress relief thing to go with Decimus's head. The question was like, well, if I just remove Decimus's head, then she just can't be stressed out at all. But the problem is the stress is just on her. There's no guarantee she's going to get hit by the stress that's being applied anyway. It's like, why give her, the removal of stress? I'd rather just take the chance, the 1/4 chance that she gets extra stress every single time one of the random teammates gets hit, then optimize against it and then lower her overall raw damage for the entire mission. The problem is this item gets real nerve-wracking against specifically that boss. All right, I'm going to roll with what I have here. I think this is fine, and there's nothing really wrong with the items I've chosen. It's just like, there's an argument to be made that you could go with one thing over the other. It doesn't really matter here. We're fine. One thing I do want to do, though, before I jump in is upgrade my character's abilities. Dude, this is the longest I've gone without jumping into a mission, just chatterboxing before the mission starts. That's crazy. I didn't realize how much time had passed. Adder's Kiss is solid. Scryers are being the first slot. That's okay. I don't think there's anything in this list that I don't really necessarily... actually, the stealth thing I don't want. Probably Impale. We'll take these. And then, she need to level her heal. Oh, yeah, she's level 2. I'll take the stun, and I'll take the judgment. And then we will throw you out here. Now, you don't have anything to level up. That's fine. Yeah, I just realized I've been talking for an hour and 36 minutes, and that's because I had a few people jump in chat, and I was just talking about the game. All right, let's get in. I want to play. All right, again, we're doing this mission. All right, this is nice. We get to get rid of these over the course of the mission. These consecrated essences, we get to use them, and then they disappear from our inventory over the course of the fight. Oh, this might be one of those situations where we're gonna have a very full inventory. We may see a new roaming boss we've never seen before. It could happen in this mission. This is a holy mission. I'm gonna use the holy water here. Holy mission. This is a ruins-based mission. I'm gonna bring the extra holy water here, maybe 4. Oops. I took like 2 of these. Brought the food. We already have a healer. I don't need anything like that. Making sure everybody has the abilities selected I actually really want. Stunning people and plague grenading them is fine. This character can't hit anybody in the front line, which really sucks, but I don't really care about that. These other 2 characters can take care of that. This character's just going to be on backline duty and invigorating vapors and random heals. Yeah, we're fine with that. Anything else I need to bring here? I brought the food. Oh, torches. Medium mission. Right? Yeah, you see why one of these missions is tough, because your inventory is literally full. Throughout the mission, your inventory's full, which again can be a problem. Which we'll see. If it happens, it happens. We will see. I'm actually kind of excited to see if we see the old collector. That's all I'll say.
Can the defiled be consecrated? Can the fallen find rest?
All right. All right. Not a perfectly straight mission, but not that big of a deal. He says, I don't like him. Oh, the collector? Always thought the collector was an interesting boss because he's the definition of strike first, strike fast, or feel punished. The Collector, without
Radiance,
spoiling
may
anything
we
here,
find victory.
is definitely one of those fights where if you strike very quickly and you're smart about it, you can win the fight so fast that it just doesn't even feel like a boss. But if you don't watch out, it can go really long and really suck. Alright, he's already been stunned. I also just try to crush, finish him. Oh, yeah.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Suddenly this... Okay. First attack is against us is an 11 crit. That's brutal. It'd be like that. I'm gonna train you a little bit to... Oh my god!
Continue the onslaught.
What do you even say to that? What?
Them all.
Alright, I guess I'll start healing now. So I got... There's a lot of cholesterol in this fight already. A lot of cheese. 211 crits immediately? Are you literally kidding me? Are you, like, actually joking? Like, what are we talking about right now? Alright. Cool.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
We're literally out of... we have no inventory space already. The mission just started. We're already like, oh, I gotta go home. My bags are full, sir. Oh, yeah, she's curious. I really cannot wait to get rid of all those random quirks. Sure. We're just gonna use this. Oh, no.
To be spent.
Yes, we do have spots for it. Now we'll use it. That's so ridiculous. 22 damage across 2 attacks. First fight of the mission. You got it, dude.
Even the cold
Draugr been working out. Yeah, it's so funny how that meme has lived way beyond its like, yeah, I'll switch the money for it here. The reason I say is because I see the altar over here. So lets me get rid of one of these immediately, which is nice. Cool.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Look at these scoutings. I've already got 2 scouts. This is crazy. Oh my... This mission suddenly got a lot easier. Less inventory thinking going on already. That's awesome. 50 gold twice? Okay, dude. Alright, you should be the one that removes these, I think. You have like 80% chance of doing it.
Cruel machinations.
Yeah, you got it.
Life with a singular purpose.
Alright, we expected this.
A shard of alien malignity.
Alright, we expected this, so that's okay. Alright, so we will immediately spam the extra damage, I guess, on this guy early, and then after that we'll put it on our shield breaker. The shield breaker is going to do a lot of damage, but I just think he's going to do more raw damage early. I just want to get that going right now. And then stun is 85% chance to block a stun, and she has a 120% chance to trigger. So I could try to stun him. It's a 45% chance it'll hit. No, hold on. It's a 35% chance it'll hit. That makes it a little worse. Just deal damage to him, right? I guess I could heal. Healing's also probably reasonable here. Do people that are lower on health? I don't know. She'll be able to heal for the whole fight. She won't be able to do raw damage for the whole fight. Let's do this now. Just deal as much damage as we can to him. Maybe we'll go for the stun here. Like, sure. Let's just try it. Maybe we get it. That's fine. Alright, and then now I'm gonna hit him for the blight. If this hits him, this is a 95% accuracy, minus 10% damage modification, but a crit higher chance. He has no armor right now. This has a 95% chance. This is more damage. The Adder's Kiss is more damage right now.
Devastating blow.
Okay, well, that makes me look like I know what I'm talking about, very much so, but that's not what I expected. Alright. Starting off by critting for that much is pretty legit. We'll take it. Alright, now I'm going to hit him for a lot. I'm going to use Bolster probably after he hits 85% protection, because I want to hit for as much raw damage as I can while his protection is low. Get him down while I can, then I can start spamming the... Sure. It's okay. 12 is fine. Whatever. Is it stun? Okay. Annoying, but not that huge of a deal. Yep. That ability looks so menacing and it doesn't do anything. It just spawns this little thing. I guess that's stress, but... Alright, here we are kind of priced... Oh, that's kind of lucky for him. I'm kind of priced into attacking this because I don't want it to blow up and deal damage to people, and I don't have a guaranteed damage dealer because dude is stunned. Oh, that's cheeky. Do I do that here? This thing's dot. It has what? 5 health? Oh no, my healer can kill it. My healer can kill it. I'm pretty... Oh, I didn't hit. That sucks. And then I'll hit her with it now. Invigorating Vapors, right? I guess I probably should have just put Invigorating Vapors on her twice because I can stack... I forgot about that. I learned about that. You can actually put it on 2 people. Or put it on 1 person twice, because then she would just keep on hitting even through the protection. Yeah, if I could do that again, I would have done that differently. I hadn't thought about that. All right, now we'll use Judgment, just try to kill this. Oh, that's at 1. Worst case scenario. That sucked. That sucks. That sucks. Yep. No, that's not even that much damage. The horror is what sucks. That's what I said. You gotta watch out for that, because that's where it gets really bad. Okay, that's fine. Sure. What's the debuff doing here? A lot of random stuff here. All right. We started this fight off really well, but oh, wait a second. I never realized that. This thing from the stars, when he uses that crystalline aberration, he's actually using his own health to do that. He's lowering his own health to do this. That makes this fight way easier than I realized, because that means I can just focus on killing this, and he's just going to drain his own health. I never realized that. That's totally different. Just, well, I'm actually going to probably take a turn off to, like, decrease the stress people get. And then after that, the rest of the time, this guy will be focusing on destroying the shard thing for the rest of the fight. But this time I need her to do that, because we just saw that apparently our healer, unfortunately, is just weak enough that she can't, which sucks. But for the rest of the mission, or the rest of this fight, she will be doing that. Now she's going to heal this round. Oh, double crit was clean. It's a nice... Oh, that's a gift. Yep. No big deal. That's fine. All right, and then here... I can't really stun this guy. We've talked about this. Although I do have higher percentage chance to stun because of this. That's funny. Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, the heal's a pittance. It's going to heal for 1 or 2. He's got Hippocratic, right? Or she's got Hippocratic. Could heal for 3. Let's just throw a stun. That might be worth more. If it hits, it hits. That's great. That's fine. Probably better than some random one-off heal. I told you this character was going to be essentially relevant in this fight. That is what it is. All right, now we should be better off, because now we don't have a dude that's randomly stunned. Okay, we're good. Good to know. Sure. All right, take this thing out, please.
Executed with impunity.
And then now... stun, I guess. So I said this character's not good against this fight, but that got a stun off. It happens occasionally. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut, right? All right, now we'll just start hitting through. And now the fight will just end very quickly. All right, but you can see how all the stress added up really fast, so.
A momentary abatement.
Yeah, I should have put the extra on the, no, you can stun that character. That character's essentially irrelevant for this whole fight. I don't care about that. But I probably should have put the Vapors buff, both of them on the shield breaker in retrospect, but it is what it is.
Back to the pit.
See what I'm talking about, though? We have no chance of dying to this fight. Everything that was going to kill us in this fight was the stress. Stress was always the problem here. That was a lot of damage, though. Like, an absurd amount of damage. What in the world? His hit for 7 and then poisoned for 5 for 3 rounds. What? Now this character has something to do. My God. Sure. You really don't like that character, huh? Alright, now you've done your 2 fights, your 2 attacks this round. Shut up. Alright. And then here, I'm just going to stack damage on him. I mean, I'm not going to do much to him. Does he have protection or extra? No, this time he doesn't have extra. Oh, wait a second. The stun... Does he remove his own ability, his own stun debuff resist when he cleanses? Does that work for you as much as it works against you? That's actually funny. I've never thought about that.
Impressive.
Oh, yo, that might actually be how that works. He might have stunned himself out of the fight. That's funny. Yeah, he might be doing that. Now I'm going to heal because there's nothing else this guy can do. The stun won't work. It's actually quite a bit of healing there. Paralyzing Shard. His healing's a lot better than I gave it credit for because everybody's so low on health and their max health in this mission anyway because everybody's just low health. You see what I'm talking about? Like, this team is very bad against the thing from the stars in general. That's why I was trying to kind of like diversify my damage in case, because if our shield breaker got stunned twice this mission, it would have been a totally different thing. But we've been very fortunate the shield breaker's been able to attack every round. Alright. I can't stun him. See, no damage. Like, nothing. Shield breaker can. And we can rely on her. Now we just gotta make it through probably 2 more rounds, but I think we're gonna be fine either way. We don't really... Yeah, now we're gonna kill him for sure this round because he just used his own health. Just attack him. Shield breaker attacks, and that's the fight. Yeah. A lot of stress. Uh-huh. We're probably going to need to sleep. You know what I mean. Here we go.
Born of the void, it dies in the earth.
Well, all right. We get the bullseye bandana right now. This is an item we thought about going after before, so that's really good here. Now, the obvious downside of what we're dealing with right now is we have 0. I mean, we have no room to play with stress. We gotta take care of that soon. So, that was always going to be the problem, right? We said that earlier against this boss, and we solved that very quickly. Corrupt altar. Unfortunately, I have to go down here. I just have to go anywhere where there's a chance there's an altar because these missions like to hide them in the most awkward spots. That's not very nice. My guys are very close to stressing out here. Please not do that.
In this place.
We don't need that extra help. Yeah, so now we need to kill the cultist acolyte instantly. Stress is our only concern here. I mean, we're so aggressive about it, we probably should stun this guy. Just make sure he gets...
Light, the promise of safety.
Now we get to finally actually use Plague Grenade. Sure. And then I'll just have you hit a tank or something for as much damage as possible. Ability is so strong, it's crazy. And then let's just have you stun and stun and stun, why not, right? Just stun everybody. We actually had 3 people on our team that can stun, that's funny. Now this guy has the ability to hit multiple people, which sometimes really sucks. Joke's on you, dude, you've already got your 2 crits for this mission you hit for, what was it, 11 twice? Feels like a year ago, because we just fought against that dude. Oh, come on. That's fine. As long as it doesn't stress us out, I don't really care. Yeah, that's fine. I was saying, oh, come on, because he was almost dead. Nice. Crit's great. Oh, look at all that stress relief. Awesome. All right, these guys are just going to die anyway. He's not going to die, but whatever. What is your stress? Sure, we'll just kill this guy.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I was trying to maximize the amount of dot he was going to take, or DOT, or whatever you want to say, but I didn't expect him to just kill him. This guy should reach slot 3.
Their formation
we're great. We're doing just fine now.
Maintain the offensive.
And you can even be greedy and just like kill this guy, right? Just hit him for 0. Okay, game. Let's waste another round, I guess. The other guy's just gonna die as soon as the round starts. That's funny. Sure. I guess I can cheese an extra heal this round then, because it's probably the case that that guy's gonna go last. That might actually work out in our advantage, because if this guy doesn't get to go before our Vestal, we can get an extra heal in. I'm just gonna use bolster and try to tease an extra heal, and then I'll, I guess, move slots and then see if I can still get this. Nope, didn't get lucky.
Death by inches.
That's fine. I'm gonna actually use firewood now. Let's get rid of the stress.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight.
I'm gonna feast even though we don't need it.
Uneasy companionship.
Let's get rid of that stress as much as we can. That's our big problem right now. We don't. Okay, I could do. These guys aren't really religious, so that does suck here. So I guess I'll just do all companions pray. It's not great, but it's, you know, better than nothing. And then after that, nobody else on our team really has the ability to remove stress, which is unfortunate, but we do have one, which is the Encourage, which isn't the most efficient. I will probably put this on... The question is who's going to take more over time, right? Because she has Dismas's head, and he has a higher base amount. I actually think it's probably better to put it on her. Him being stressed out and getting to 100 is not as big of a deal as her, because she has the ability, if she gets afflicted and she goes like crazy and she starts attacking teammates, she hits like a truck. If he goes afflicted, what's he gonna do? Hit you once and hit you for 4? I don't really care about that as much. What do we have left? 7? Does anybody have the ability to stop nighttime ambush? Probably not. Oh no. She's with us. We're gonna have a nighttime ambush anyways, and aren't we? Or are those over now? Well, if that's the case, we better prepare. Extra dodge and extra crit seems decent. If religious, if not religious, less stress. Chant. We're gonna give this to her. Because then she's gonna be better off against that nighttime ambush if it does happen. I don't know, it might. I forget about that sometimes. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be a regular nighttime ambush.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows.
Oh my god.
Yonder, a glint of gold.
Okay. And we didn't even really switch spots. Okay, this worked out great. Okay, whatever. Look at that. Let's just... She can't... If I recall correctly, pitch is black as pitch. You can't raise the light level at all. Yeah, you can't even use the torches right now. So, I can't... This stun won't even really help. Let's just deal as much damage as we can. I thought they were surprised. Oh, no, they weren't surprised. We just got a weird situation where she got lucky and got to go first. Stun. Okay. That's fine. Not a big deal. Just keep attacking that guy. Oh, it's dodged. Never mind. That literally was like a whole round of nothing on that character just now, so.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
18 damage? How do you know that character could do that much damage, ever?
Be gone.
That's a spider. A level, like, this is a green mission. 18? Are you out of your mind?
As the fiend
What?
falls, a faint hope blossoms.
What the? Leave that character alone. What is there like? Was there like a memo I didn't catch that we were gonna try to kill the plague doctor? This character got all 4 attacks during this fight. You're gonna heal yourself. Just heal yourself. What? I'm literally gonna just move and then see if I can't get a heal off. We'll just try to stun you. Cool, awesome. Chill for a minute while I heal. That's wild. 18? What? What? Do not toy with this one. Oh, shut up. That was a crazy amount of...
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
I've never seen that much damage from a spider. Usually spiders hit for like, 4 and maybe poison you. That's insane. Alright, I don't really need this torch. Oh, well, I used the torch on the thing, but that's kind of whatever. This thing... Hold on. Ignore. This thing has... Oh, this is just a regular sarcophagus. I think this is the thing that gives, like, the thanatophobia. Or, like, claustrophobia. Occasionally. Screw that. I'm not even gonna interact. No, I'm good. I am actually good. I think that thing actually can just randomly give you, like, bad effects. Oh, the extra food's nice. That's welcome. Ew. I found food inside of that? What does that mean? That's kind of gnarly. That's kind of gross. I just found food inside of an Iron Maiden. I don't even want to think of the implications of what that means. Okay, dude. You got enough stress, right?
Ambushed by foul invention.
Chill. Okay, you're gonna step on a trap and then open the bag. Chill. I'm gonna leave you behind if you don't stop. Alright. Probably gonna have to let my... Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Gotta get rid of the bad guy in the back. Okay, cool. He's surprised. That's fine. Alright, she can't reach backline no matter what, right? Because this... Oh, no, never mind. Judgment hits. Cool. And she healed herself. That's nice. Okay, and then we'll just finish him off with Plague Grenade. Plague Grenade hopefully should kill him. Is it 4? Yeah, this character's just dead. That's great. And then after that, it's just... These are the characters I feel like have the highest chance of crit. Is this like this Bone Arbalist does? So let's just try to finish him too. Plus, he's already got a lot. Yeah, that's actually going to kill the 2 of these. He's on self and health, and he's going to take 7 poison. That's great. Or toxic, whatever you want to call it. I might be able to just straight up crush this guy, insta-kill him if I can. I'll do it. Not quite. 8's a lot, though. It's unfortunate.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Yep. Unforgiving.
It's not a crit, so I don't really care. Every round we go without getting crit on is just like a much higher chance that we're going to be good because really I'm just worried about a few crits early getting our guys to the high stress level because that thing from the stars took us so high so fast. This guy's got 25% protection. I'm just going to finish this guy off.
Masterfully executed.
Yeah, sure. I'm not irritated. I'm happy that I had the stress relief, but it's kind of funny because if he had done that last round, he would have just straight up killed him. That was his full health bar right there. I'm going to use max heal on everybody. I like using Divine Comfort on everybody, even when it's not necessary, because there's a chance I can crit on any one of them. And if that happens, then that's stress relief across the party. It's always good. I guess I'll put vapors on her. Maybe she can just insta-kill him. Maybe we'll get lucky. Not quite. That's fine. Sure. Stun. Not really bothered by that. That doesn't really matter. What terrible strength. Alright, I'm just gonna move. I wanna spend a turn, like, you know, trying to get some extra heals off and some extra, like, lucky roll. Maybe I'll get lucky with another crit or something like that. You got it, dude. Her being in that slot was awkward. Never mind, that works awful. That looks stupid. That's okay. Whatever, let's just go. That's fine. They both moved and to put her in a spot where she couldn't use her heal. But yeah, we found more food as well. That's nice. I'm actually just gonna take it.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
And not use it because we haven't been hunger checked yet, and we're probably like due for one. Get these switched, please. Get where you need to be before I accidentally do something stupid. All right, let's treasure chest. Simple enough here. We have the space for that. Now we use the food. That's a pretty simple. Oh, actually, we have the citrines we can drop too. That's even better. I will use the food though. We have enough for 3 hunger checks, so we're good. It's pretty good. All right, and now we're not going to use the torch all the way to this end, and then we're going to use the torch when we get back to this room. We'll start torching back up. We're going to let it drop here. There's our hunger check. There's the first one. Oh no! Who is the hungry person? Stress eater. Above 50% stress. I didn't notice that. That'll get you.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
I'll drop the onyx. It's fine. Don't read the books. They suck. They're always bad. Oh, well, you know, sometimes you're wrong. Okay. Find 3 corrupted altars. Oh my god, I found a map of the whole mission. I said, don't read the books. And immediately looked like I was wrong. Usually the books seem to, like, give stress or, like, some bad thing like that, so I usually try to avoid those, so that, you know, just got proven wrong this time. I'll take this. I'm not gonna light it. Because, again, I'm gonna walk through this hallway, and I expect... they have to use not all the torches, but I'll use about probably 6 of them for the rest of the mission. It's good torch discipline to not use it when not necessary, and I'm not going to light 2 torches. Okay, a double hunger check walking down this hall might spell a loss for this mission. That was absurd. We were pretty good, right? Because we had 3 hunger checks like in the bag, we were ready, and then we had a random stress eater followed by 2 random really bad unlucky hunger checks. I really want to go fight the Miller and just get rid of the hunger check system in this game. If I could trivialize that, I'll be a lot happier. I hate the hunger checking in this game. I hate it. It's the RNG on top of the RNG that it's killer. All right, heirlooms. We just dropped this. We can't take one of these now, can we? I guess I can take one. Feels really weird because I just dropped the other, but whatever. I'm gonna hold this 2 food because maybe I'll get lucky and find some more. Okay, kill these guys fast. We want to get crit for 18. I've never taken these spiders seriously, and that one spider just was like, you're gonna put some respect on our name. Double crit is crazy. Oh man, I was expecting a little bit more stress relief from that, but that's okay, I guess. Sure. I don't know how that works. Does this character always remove stress when she, like, hits? She didn't crit, but she removes stress from just hitting them. I don't know how that works, but it only seems to happen with that class. And I don't know why. I don't understand, like, why that character is doing that. When this character hits, when the shield breaker attacks somebody, she just, with particular this ability, she just occasionally removes stress, and I haven't been able to reproduce it. It just seems to happen. Stun you out. Oh, I missed on the stun. Okay, dude. You got it. Get your little 1 damage in there or whatever off of having 1 health. Jeez. All right, so I'll use my Plague Doctor to hopefully get rid of that. Are you gonna both die too?
This is how a life is taken.
Do the maximal. Screw you. You survived just enough to get more bleed on.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
This is where I like the emeralds because they stack already. This is already a stack of gold by itself, and I need 3 of these to get to a stack of gold, and I already threw one away. It's not really worth your time. what I was saying when I said screw you to that character was this shield breaker. I was like, okay, this guy only has, you know, a certain amount of health left. I'll stun that, you know, spider so I have more time to get more heals off. And then the spiders are like, okay, we're gonna not die. I'm gonna survive with 1 health on the tick, and I'm gonna dodge the stun. And then we're gonna roll high on the next round so that we get to attack first, apply the maximal amount of poison we can to your frontliner, so that we you know, before we die and you get the chance to even attack and get a heal off. All right, cheeser. All right, awesome. That's great for us. So we can leave now whenever we want. So the mission is actually over. If we get hit by a hunger check, we can just leave. That's really good for us. All right, success. We are going to continue, though, because there's no reason not to. While we can, we should. All right, I'm going to walk around and just, you know, use up my items, and hunger check happens. Hunger check English is hard. Hunger check happens. Hunger check happens. Yeah, I get it. You got 70. Oh, I actually had 3 anti-venom in my inventory. Huh. I'm stupid. Dude, how many spiders? Like, is this whole mission just spiders? What's going on here? Really, I'm just gonna... This feels weird, but I'm just gonna heal her. Oh, she healed for 6. That made it look really good. The Hippocratic plus the crit was... She rolled the maximal side of it. I think she rolled like a... Okay. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter because you stunned a character that's already attacked. I don't even care. Let's try to stun one of the characters who hasn't attacked yet. This actually worked out really well. This round went very well. We got a crit heal on a character who actually had a useless round, because normally this character's heals for what? Between 1 and 2? So this character rolled between a 1 and a 2. The Hippocratic rounded it to 3, and then it crit and like doubled and like healed for 6. That's an absurd amount. Does this character have Divine Grace is extra healing received? Wow, that's actually really unfortunate, and I didn't realize we had that synergy going on. Guess I need to heal her very soon here. Crush this guy. Just get rid of him. Need to get a heal off on the shield breaker when I get the chance here. You got it. I'm just gonna take a turn off here. No. You're not good. Actually, maybe I can stun him. The game just really doesn't want me to heal her. Why is my Vestal always going last? Come on, man. She doesn't have, like, slow draw or anything like that.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
Highwayman's Buckler, 10% trap disarm chance, plus 4 dodge. That's not a bad item early game. I'm not taking a slot for that, though. That's not really worth our slots. I mean, you could make an argument for maybe replacing the portrait with it, but I think we'll find more portraits. And honestly, Drifter's Buckle at this stage, when am I going to use that item? When am I ever going to slot that over something else on that guy at this stage?
Spirits are lifted.
Sometimes the game's just like, nope, this is when it's going to happen. You're going to take it now. Okay, game. The game wants me to be stressed out now, so it decided to make it happen. Yep, the game decided that this was the round I was going to get stressed out. Do you see that? Like, it decided this is when it's going to happen. It was like, nope, you have no choice. Now you'll be stressed out. I had no control over that. That was just, the game decided that was going to happen.
Reeling, gasping, taken over the edge into madness.
Sure. Now the game wants to do this to me at the end. Because I did everything I could right there. I tried to stun the one guy who could stress me. We missed. They both targeted the one same character. What do you do? Your character gets stressed out. Can't do anything about it. Yeah, you got it. Throw your stress on everybody. We've avoided it most of the mission, so I can't really complain too much. It's annoying whenever it happens in a way that you knew it was going to happen, and you see the oncoming train wreck coming, and you're like, there's a train wreck coming. I'd like to not get hit by a train. The game's like, no, stand there and take it. That sometimes feels a little frustrating. All right, now I'm going to throw Divine Grace on her to make sure, because she could use it. We've needed this for a while. I bet that for her was about like taking a drink of cold water after like walking across the desert. My God, get this dork out of my face. We do have holy water, which is good because that will help get our irrational guy a little lower. We might actually spend it on somebody else besides the irrational guy, because the irrational character, this plague doctor's not going to come with us to the next mission no matter what. She's going to get like, you know, some treatment now. Then that begs the question, if I was going to give stress relief to somebody, why would it have to be the character who's going to get stress relief anyways from some kind of a treatment? Just, I'm not going to get the character to 0 this mission, so... Alright, chill, dude. Stop randomly stressing people out. And see, this is like, this mission should be really easy, and it is. This mission has been very, very easy because it's a low tier mission. But all of what has happened, all of the downside risk and everything that's happened is because we had to fight against the thing from the stars, right? We saw it early, and I said, like, if we run into this thing, we need to be prepared because this team is very robust against damage. No stress relief abilities. But if we can get through the thing from the stars fast, we'll be fine. And we did okay, but, you know, there was always going to be the case that we were going to take a bunch of random stress. Sure. Again, like I said, damage is no factor against this team. We're going to be totally fine. It's just the stress issue. Everybody's going to go over the top on stress, too, if we get hunger checked, which is probably bound to happen very soon. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. That's fine. We're really just trying to kind of get through that last... there's a treasure room I'd like to get to if I get lucky. If I get there. If I don't, that's fine. All right. Really just using this heal just to kind of if I get lucky and I get a crit, you know, sometimes we get some stress relief. That's really why I'm doing it, because this character's going to die no matter what anyways. Sure. Oh, that's a lot of money. That was a good find here.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
So we're keeping the torches. We don't have enough food to actually get we'll switch with the anti-venom. We're keeping the torches because, you know, I still need those for the rest of the mission if we keep on going. The food I'm keeping on the off chance so we get lucky and find, what, 3 more food because one of our guys has, like, the hunger problem. Probably not going to happen. We're probably going to get hunger checked and people are just going to get punched in the face. It is what it is on that. But the nice part is here, I can select my man-at-arms and I can use the holy water to remove a bunch of stress, hopefully. Yeah, a little bit, not a lot. 20 stress, yeah. That's good, because if we get hunger checked, nobody on the team will go over. The Plague Doctor's already over. No saving the Plague Doctor. The Plague Doctor decided to, like, the spiders, like, threw a football pass out of bounds, and the Plague Doctor ran out of bounds and jumped in the way of it and got hit by a train. Was like, oh, yeah, I want that. Take it. It's take it in the face for no reason. Like, no reason. All right. Yep. I'm really just hoping we get lucky and we don't see hunger. Screw you, game.
To fall for such a little thing. A bite of bread.
That's my biggest nemesis in this game is food. I'll tell you what, man. It's the only thing that I, like, you know, it's just like, what do you do? And it has comedic timing. I think in the last, like, 3 episodes, anytime I mention it, it's like, ugh. It's like, oh, you could say confirmation bias because I'm talking about it a lot, but, like, that had comedic timing. It's done it to me multiple times like that. All right. Honestly, I can't hit the back target, so there's not... I guess I can just stun. I haven't really been stunning much with this class. I've been more focusing on dealing damage to the back line. I guess I could stun more, but... Alright, now we heal, because if I get stress relief... Shut up, dude. Alright, take one of these guys out. Go to 1. It's annoying. We'll use Retribution and just aim this guy, and then hopefully he gets attacked a few times. We haven't had real need for the, like, Retribution thing. Come on, he's marked! Don't you want to attack the guy that's marked? Come on, man. Alright, let's stun another guy, I guess. Just keep throwing stuns out. I'd like to get a heal off if I can, so I guess I'll throw this at him. I should be probably using Adder's Kiss more. It's a really good ability, but...
is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Yeah, I should probably just be giving that more love, honestly. Oh, that crit's awesome. Thank you. Extra stress relief. Just crush him. You've already said that, like, 2 minutes ago. You don't need to say it again. Just chill. There's no pocket theory.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
That's what I said. He gained Ashen. This is why you don't read books, guys. I was like, oh yeah, the books are bad, and then and that one girl was like, oh, we're gonna interact with it anyway, and I'm like, Then we got Ashen, the worst quirk in the game. Then the upside of this is I can remove this and lock Eldritch, like, Slayer in the same turn and actually feel like I did something. Although I was probably gonna get rid of Miss at the spot too. Ashen's just... Ashen is awful, guys. Alright, that's alright, whatever. Let's go. Oh yeah, the stress boys are here. Let's go. Give me all that stress. Alright. Get to him here, alright. Let's just stun one of these guys. Get out of my face, dude. No stress. Just shut up. I might even try to kill him if I can. Yeah, yeah, nice dodge. All right. Can you imagine her lunging with a like this super athletic, like trained killer with this like, you know, long spear, misses a dork like a court jester, like okay, a dead court jester with a goblet and a shank. He's somehow unable to just get the job done. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna use retribution and try to mark him, and hopefully that'll help, like, get the focus on him instead of getting the stress put on somebody else. Him being stressed out, I'm not as bothered by. Sure, that character's already as stress can be anyway. Whatever. Characters, you're stunned. Shut up. Nice.
Ringing ears, blurred vision.
Okay.
The end approaches.
Okay. Good lord. Gonna give this guy a heart attack. She's gonna die. Possibly. Hopefully not. Stress is about there. The crit's awesome. The random crit to remove a little stress is awesome here. All right, this guy's just gonna die. I don't care about him. So let's just deal damage to this guy. I gotta remember to use Adder's Kiss. I keep forgetting. Like that's probably gonna do more damage overall, isn't it? Stun him. I was hoping to maybe get a cheeky stun in there so I could actually... Oh, never mind. She's still going to get a chance to heal here. I'm trying to heal because I might get a crit. And also, a few people need heals, so... All right. Go first, die. Those guys having such high heal is wild to me.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Those guys having such high base speed is wild to me. They're running around in a bathrobe and they're faster than our guys. All right. We have one skeleton key here. This was worth it.
Wealth beyond measure. Yeah. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
I'm gonna use the food here because we're not getting the hunger check's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I can't do anything about it. And I'm gonna walk out this hallway. I'm just gonna see. We get hunger checked. I don't care. Cool game.
The requirements of survival.
Like 5 hunger checks this mission.
On an empty stomach.
5 hunger checks this mission. Bro. Cool.
Adversity can foster hope and resilience.
Cool. $25 gold.
Is only the first test.
Worth it. Let's go.
Must be carried home.
God, this game, man.
This day belongs to the light.
The random hunger checks. Dude, why is it that when I bring multiple holy waters, we just can't find any actual things that interact with holy water? Like, this location is the place that holy water is supposed to be used. There was a mission we had where we used 5 holy waters. There were 4 of those vases, and then there was like, I think it was an altar. And now I'm not seeing anything that you, come on, man. I think I saw one thing. We saw that one altar that removed 20 stress from our Man-at-Arms. My god, man. Extra damage rain skills? Amazing! Game. Okay, this is from extra move resist. This is like the worst character in the game to get this on. Move resist on a character who perpetually moves? I want this on, like, if I was ever going to have it on anybody, I'd want this on, like, you know, the leper or the... Yeah, I think the leper is probably the obvious one. Probably the only real one that you need it on. Maybe the abomination too. Not even, I mean, you could also make the argument like the bounty hunter or whatever, but like the character who can move perpetually, why do we need that on her? This game is trolling, man. And town will only gamble. That's totally fine. We're okay with that. But Eagle Eye, look at this. Eagle Eye. Let's give Eagle Eye to a guy that has 0 ranged abilities. Why is that even in the list of things he can develop? Why?
The shuffling dead are silenced. We have claimed dominion over the ruins once more.
Oh, this game, man, is trolling. I'm not even mad. I'm just literally laughing at this game. Oh, what is this? Minus 50% stress. Selfish pendant. Huh. It's an interesting item. All right. We're now at a stage where I'm thinking about, like, going and fighting one of those bosses, but The guys I just brought with me, none of them are like, I didn't really level this crew in order to fight the next boss. I leveled this crew because I thought Prescott could come with the next crew to fight against the next boss there, right? Because we were doing that mission specifically to make it so that if things worked out here, +4 speed against bloodsuckers, +2 20. This is a good item. I would grab this. Yeah, this is what we're doing. Go do this mission, meet him, because then the Dazzling Mirror, I can use this on every single courtyard mission and always put this on the, there's a few choices, right? I guess there's probably the Crusader. Also, you could argue I could put this on the... It's kind of weird because the stunning the bloodsuckers is fine, but they always seem to spawn 2 of those little head crab guys who I said this like 6-7 episodes ago. I was going to learn their name, but I still have never managed to learn their damn name. The blood head crab looking guys, the ones that puke pre-digestion stuff on you, those guys have like 200% stun resist. So an item like this is good, but it's like they have an absurd stun resistance, so you'll never stun those guys. But as an item though, +4 speed and +20% skill, stun skill chance is actually non-trivial. Like you can use this to some level of success on a few classes. Like it would be solid on the Crusader. It would be okay on like the old occultist because he could throw out a stun here, right, with a hands from the abyss. It's okay on the bounty hunter because he can throw out a flashbang, giving him a little bit more. But the stun chances on all these are so low already. It's like, I say so low with respect to those like head crab guys. It's never going to land. So essentially, what you're doing is you're kind of increasing your chance of stun against every other character in the game. Is that worth it? I guess it's fine. The only character in the game who I'd actually like want to run this on, I'm really thinking about is like probably the Abomination. If the Abomination runs with this locket. Because the other item we were using with the Abomination was this locket, the Adlock of Transference, +20% Blight skill chance and +20% stun skill chance. The Blight skill chance literally does nothing against the bloodsuckers. So if I was going to bring the Abomination on this mission, I would want this item on him instead because the +20% stun is the same as this, but it also gives him 4 speed instead of the useless +20% Blight skill chance, which you would never use on that mission. Is there anybody else it would be any good on? I honestly don't think so. I mean, you could put it on Carnot here. It wouldn't be a terrible thing for him because he's got Blackjack, but I don't know. There's just nobody in the game. I just thought about this. There's nobody in the game that can stun 2 targets, is there? Like a kind of an Abomination, or not an Abomination, but like a kind of how the Plague Doctor throws out 2 plague grenades. I don't think so. No, there's not. It's interesting. There's a lot of people that stun single targets, but the +20% is cool. But like, it's so strange because bloodsuckers have like either an enormous amount of stun resist or like nothing. So I don't know who this is for. Like what character this is for. +4 speed is solid in general. I guess the question is +4 speed across the board good enough as an item? And I don't think so. +20% stun skill chance is okay. It's funny because when I first saw this item, I was like, oh yeah, this is worth doing. Is it? What is the base stun chance on the Crusaders? 100% stun chance, and what's it go up by? Like 10% each time? It's my level 0 one. I have a level 30, or level 30, level 3, level 30, good lord. This is at level 4 here. It's gone up by 30%. Yeah, so it goes up 10% each time. So this, at max level, it would be doing 150%. I think 6 is max level. It'd be 150% base. It would be 170%. It still doesn't get. It literally is eclipsed entirely by that. You're never going to stun those head crab guys ever. You just can't stun them. So then the question is it like, what's it good for? I guess it increases the chance you'll stun things like the mosquito. But see, the problem with the mosquitoes, those little bloodsuckers, the problem is with them isn't stun chance. I think their stun skill chance, I think they have like a 10% chance to resist. They're going to get stunned by like a light breeze. You just can't hit them. They have an enormous not resistance, but an enormous like amount of dodge. I don't know who this is for. I don't know what class wants it, and I don't know what enemies it's used to hit. I guess, higher echelon, stronger tiered bosses that are in the... I guess this would be good against bosses in the Crimson Courtyard, maybe. And maybe it would also be good against just the upper echelon bad guys that are there, just regular Radiant enemies you run into casually throughout the mission. Like, essentially just think not the mosquitoes and not the other... So it'd be good against maybe the Chevaliers and all those other, like the random aristocrat people, like the guy with the foil, and then the chick that does like the little dancing thing. The Midnight Minuet or whatever her ability is. Maybe it'd be good against her. I could also just go do this mission and get the fortified garlic. And then just, I mean, there's no chance I lose this mission, especially now. It's a long mission, so it doesn't feel like an entire waste of this extra damage and extra, you know, experience gained from this mission. And then we would gather a fortified garlic, which I said before, I think is not a terrible item. I think it's pretty solid on a few characters. I mean, it's not good. It's not good, but it's a solid item on a tank. You know, I could see running this if I was truly just going to get behind. Like, if I had an enemy that didn't apply stress, right? If we went to a mission where the enemies there did not apply a lot of a stress, and we knew that the vast majority of the problem was going to be damage or bleed or things like that, I could bring a Vestal. I could throw this fortified garlic on the man-at-arms, and then have him protect everybody, and then he's just standing there while one of our people, like a shield breaker or a leper, is standing there dealing the damage. It's the sword and shield, right? The leper or the shield breaker is the damage dealer, and then you got the man-at-arms who's just tanking and tanking and tanking, and you can't even bleed him because he's got the fortifying garlic. He's got so much raw resistance. What's his raw resistance right now? Well, he's got Ashen. And he locked it! What? He locked 2 bad quirks in one mission, and one of them was what he found in that mission. This game. He just got that, and he locked it? Oh my god. She locked Curious, too. I'm so happy I'm focusing on gaining as much money as possible, because this game is truly intentionally trying to lock the worst possible quirks. He could have locked Unquiet Mind, I'd been fine. Misses the Spot, I'd been fine. Ashen? I literally said it's one of the worst quirks in the game. She locked Curious, which I said is my least favorite quirk in the game, and Yips, which has been trolling us this entire mission. She could have locked... I wish I could, like... I need to create, like, a highlight of me complaining about these quirks, and then followed like immediately after me being trolled by those exact quirks being locked. I swear to God, they're locking in the worst possible way. It is over and over happening. I guess I hope somebody's having a laugh after this, because I am not. It feels about like getting hit in the funny bone. Let's remove these quirks. Let's sort by rarity. We did get we've had some decent items we found. At least we've got like some, we're getting some good items. I'm just a little annoyed right now is all. Ugh. And we also gathered some extra shards from that thing from the stars. We're getting up to a certain amount of, we're gathering some shards, just occasionally gathering some shards. Now I could make the argument here, I could save these shards. As I said, I don't know for sure if these shards are what you're using on this. If these shards are what you use to buy these things, that's interesting, but I don't really need these things. Like Holy Water increases its own buffs, Laudanum adds stress resist buff, all this other stuff. These are like late game extra things. They're not the kind of thing I care about unlocking now. I think I'd much rather use these shards to buy actual unique trinkets here. So this might be a good time to look at trinkets. You gotta bear in mind though, I think this shop lags the game for some reason. Whenever you enter this shop, it just lags things. So I need to look and see if there's anything worth buying here. I did say I like the Spectral Spear Tip. This might be what we buy. 65 crystal, yeah, it's a weird currency. Plus 15 raw damage, 15% raw damage on your shield breaker. That's great. On attack, random target, 5%. I still don't fully understand what that means. It looks like what it's saying is on attack, a random target will just take 5% of the damage that she's dealing, or maybe she's randomly attacking one of the targets that she's trying to attack. What I'm guessing is, let's say you attack and there's 2 people, and she can attack either one of them, and you choose one. It's either saying that she will randomly attack one of them and deal an extra 5%, and you have no choice over the 2 she's attacking, right? Like, or it's saying that she will randomly attack one of them that wasn't the one you selected 5% of the time, something like that. I don't really know what the 5% thing means. That's not very well described. Random target 5%. What does that mean? I'm doing 5% of my max damage to like a random target? I have a 5% chance to attack a random target. Totally. I can't imagine hitting a target that's not in my my normal range of who I can even hit with my abilities. That doesn't make any sense. That's poorly worded. Plus 20% blight skill chance. That's really good. Plus 50% max. This literally gives all upside. Unless that random target thing is worse than I'm realizing. That's a cool ability. I like Spectral Spear Tip. I think that's a solid item. Plus 40%. This is bad. Plus 40% protection when attacked by a husk. That's just what? What? Minus 20% healing received. Okay, that's why. The first ability is not even really good. Plus 30% protection when attacked by Eldritch. Weird. Not a fan of that item at all. Ignore stealth. Whatever. Okay. Minus 20% virtue chance. Okay. They're basically trading nothing for nothing. Plus 5% crit if shard dust is in your inventory. Weird. This is one of those items I would only ever use on if I was on the farmstead. And it's also really strange because I'm ignoring stealth, which is where you'd want to ignore stealth. Minus 20% virtue chance feels like a punch, like in the face. Like, why? It's just like guaranteeing you'll never virtue chance. Like, I don't understand why you'd... I mean, I don't even know if that's really necessary. If it said minus 5%, it just... What you're gaining is not even that crazy. The ignore stealth is fine on this one location. But the fact that he gets plus 5% crit if the shard dust is in your inventory makes it so that this item is explicitly really for this mission. Or this location. I say this mission, this location, as if you know where I'm talking about. The farmstead, if you don't follow me. It's an okay item. When I say okay, I mean like S, A, B, C, D, F. It's like a D plus C minus in my mind, just off of reading it here. Plus 20 dodge of the Plague Doctor. Wow, that's quite a stat. Plus 25% blight skill chance. Okay. Plus 20% healing received if medicinal herbs is in the inventory. The 20 dodge is quite impressive. 25% blight skill chance. Is that good? I don't know what the base blight skill resistance is of enemies in the farmstead. See, there's this weird anomaly, or this weird, like, relationship with how blight skill and bleed skill and all those debuff things work. The higher it is, the more resistance that you need to be able to ignore. But if it gets past a certain point, there's just no point trying. Right? So it's almost like when they're at 0 resist, you don't care about this and this item's bad. If they get to 5, 10, 15, 20, once you get to 20, it's the sweet spot, right? It's like it does true damage, real true damage to that enemy. But then once they get up to like the 60, 70, 80%, once you get to like that 80%, that upper air where it's like, oh, I've got 80% resistance, like why would I even use a blight skill ability on this dork? This enemy has such high blight skill resistance, I'm not going to ever hit. And this item, I wear this item to give me a 50-50 chance I blight you? Why not just use a different character? $35 dodge if oh, whoa, Antiquarian plus 35 dodge if shard dust is in the inventory. Minus 15 accuracy. It's awful. Actually, it's not. Because holy crap, this is a pretty solid item. You can't miss when you target your own teammates, as far as I know. The Antiquarian is very rarely attacking enemies. I mean, sure, she has a few things she can do, but a lot of times she's just spamming dodge. This is crazy. The Smoking Skull, I would use this every time I had the Antiquarian. I don't know how often I'm going to want to bring the Antiquarian with me, because the Antiquarian as a teammate, what a weird choice. Why would you want to bring the Antiquarian to this mission at all? Because she can't find extra gold and rare items. You don't wander around any location on the farmstead. It's just raw fighting. It's like the worst time to bring her to anything. Weird. She does almost no damage at all. I guess, I mean, it's not terrible. If you ignore that and think of it as just like, okay, that's like sunk cost or just something you don't really need to think about. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, she doesn't get the chance to use that little mini game, but ignore it. Is she still decent enough with the other raw stats? And 35 dodge is kind of insane. And the minus 15 accuracy basically doesn't read anything, right? It doesn't say anything there, because that line is basically like, hey, she's never going to attack. But okay, I mean, how often do you really attack with the Antiquarian? You feel kind of like you're in a bad spot when you're forced to anyways. That's not her forte. The minus 15% blight resist feels like a punch in the face. Why does it need 2 downsides? I guess it's because the minus 15 accuracy doesn't really feel like much of a, like I said earlier, doesn't feel like that's much of a big deal. Maybe in testing they felt like the minus 15 accuracy wasn't enough. At which point I wonder, like, why even keep it then? To guarantee she's locked into just being a perpetual dodge bot? I don't know. This is a weird item. Gesture only. Plus 25% stress skills. That's good. That's real good. Plus 25% percent damage if the laudum is in inventory. Yo, this is a good item. I mean, it's a little bit schismed on what it's trying to do, but this makes his this plus bright timber. Hold on, I actually don't know if need to look that up. Is the farmstead radiant light not only above 50, but above 75%? Just assume it's 100 in both. Sun rings, sun crowns work as well as heaven's hairpin. Everything in the farmstead is considered at 100 light. Yeah, that's crazy, because then you can run with the with the dirge of the devoured here, this item. You can give this item to your jester, and then plus you add on top of that the old the bright tambourine, and then now he's got plus 20% stress skills, plus an extra 25% stress skills. Now he's like almost, I'm just gonna say 50 because it's easier. If he's like stress relieving for 10, now he's stress relieving for 14.5, which rounds up to 15, right? He's just, one stress thing just removes your stress like entirely. And I'm not actually sure how that works with percentages. I know the raw thing, it would remove it, but I actually wonder if his ability, like let's say, I think his old clown banjo, as I like to call it here, it gives plus 10% stress relief for the future too. It removes raw stress, but also increases the buffs the stress protection for future subsequent stresses. So I wonder if it also affects that. So like, does plus 25% stress skills, like would having this also increase the buff of stress that person would then have for subsequent stresses to be 12.5% stress relief, not 10%? If that's the case, this item is the nuts. That's pretty good. This is just a farming item. This is pretty boring. I mean, it's good. Well, I'd say it's good. It's fine. I don't think it's good at all, actually. It's pretty bad. Does that mean you're giving up? Most of the time, these are always like trap items. Because in most cases, your thinking is, oh, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to gather more resources because I get to, get more for my time. But it'd be better just to be able to go farther in the farmstead, because the farmstead is like this. You just keep fighting and just keep fighting and you keep fighting. The longer you go, the more enemies you see, the higher the rewards are. You're already going to get more reward. Just bring more damage. What are you doing? This just seems like a trap item. Acidic Husk Ichor. Minus 25% max HP is ill. That's a lot. Plus 30% damage. That's a lot. Whoa. Plus 30% bleed skill chance versus Husk. Bleed skill. Does the flagellant bleed? Oh, I'm sorry. For talking about the flagellant so much, my brain just had a brain fart. I was thinking about the abomination. I was thinking this was the abomination. Okay, so this, I wonder what the bleed skill chance is against husks. It must be like low for them to make this item, because I'm sorry, it must be high base bleed resist on the husks for them to make this item, because this is essentially an admission that like the bleed skill was too high and there was no way for the not the abomination, I'm going to say that, the flagellant to even deal damage. So this is essentially like saying, okay, you need this item to make the character deal any... Hold on. I'm going to look up and see what husk resistances are. As I said, I'm willing to look up things if I've fought the enemies in the past, and I have already. So anybody who I've already seen, I'm willing to look something up about them. If I've never seen them before, I don't do that. That's my own rule for myself, not that anybody cares. It's just my own thing here. What? Farmhand is probably the most generic. Wait, is everything at this location a husk? I thought a husk was a single target enemy. Oh no, like everything's a husk at that location. Oh, well, that makes it even better. That makes things like this item a little bit better than I gave it credit for originally. Extra protection whenever attacked by a husk. I was thinking the husks were basically just all the farmhands, so that makes him protected against everything. That's also weird though. Giving 40% protection when attacked by a husk to like this guy, he's already got pretty high dodge. I think it's always weird whenever they give like characters who are more dodge prone huge amounts of protection, or vice versa. It's very odd. Yeah, a lot of these characters, what if they're bleed resist? Oh my god. Well, that's the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow is like a unique one. The Scarecrow has a 200% chance to resist bleed. That ain't gonna bleed him. Let's see if there's. Let me pick a different one. The Scarecrow is, straw and wood, so that's probably a bad example. Let's look at the Farmhand. I've seen the Scarecrow, that's why I was able to look this up. All right, the Farmhand has a 20% chance to resist bleed. Okay. I guess this isn't that bad. Foreman is 20%. I've seen him before, and I've seen the fracture against, you know. Why have I seen the fracture? I don't reckon. I don't know what the fuck. Excuse me. I don't know what that. I don't know what that is. Plow horse. Yeah, a lot of these have really low base resistances, so we're probably okay, actually. So this basically makes it so that they're like 100% chance to get bled, basically. All right, so let's think about this item then. Less max health, but huge amounts of damage. That's okay, because this character likes to live on death's door, so it doesn't even really matter. Less health doesn't matter. He just gets to death's door faster, and then you're always healing him anyway. So this actually isn't that big of a deal. I actually think this item's good. 30% damage is insane. Yeah, I'm sold on this item. I think this is a good one. I'd buy this. Plus 50, okay, Houndmaster only. Plus 50% bleed skill chance if dog treats are in your inventory. So you're incentivized to not use them. Which doesn't really matter on this mission, because on this mission type, you're not carrying a bunch of you're not hoarding a bunch of goodies. You're really just going in. The farmstead's unique in the sense that a lot of times you leave a mission and you have like 5, 6, 7, 8 slots that are just blank. Because most of the time, the thing that you're getting out of that mission, you're leaving with crystals. That's really the only thing you gather. Plus 40% stress skills when guarding. Whoa, what a... I've never heard of a combination like that. Like, it checks for when you're doing another thing. I mean, that exists, I guess, on Man-at-Arms, who's like extra... This character gets extra whatever while he's guarded. I guess it does exist. Interesting. Less dodge is bad. Plus 66% guard duration. So, whenever he guards a person for, like, 1 round, instead he's... I guess it's probably... I don't know what the math is on it. I'm guessing, because if it's guard for 1 round, then he's guarding for 1.66 rounds. That doesn't make any sense. If it's guard for 2 rounds, he's guarding for 3.33 rounds, which doesn't make any sense, right? Is that bad math? Hold on. Yeah. 3.33 rounds, whatever. But if it's guard for 3... His base ability must guard for 3 rounds. That way, this would make it guard for 5 instead. That's my guess. Does he really guard for 3 rounds? I doesn't even say. Guard ally, buff self. Because if he guards for 3 rounds, then that works out mathematically to actually make a percentage sense that makes sense. If guard duration lasts for 3 rounds, and you add 66% of that, that's a clean 2 extra rounds. But if guard rounds is only 1, then he would go to guard of 1.66 rounds, which doesn't make any sense. If it was twice that much, it'd be 3.33. That doesn't make any sense either. But if it was 3 rounds, then it'd be a flat 2 extra rounds. That's crazy. So he goes from guarding for 3 rounds to clear to 5. That actually seems pretty incredible. Plus 40% stress skills when he is guarding. So this is weird though, because now, again, it's doing 2 different things. You'd basically be spamming Hound's Harry, and then later in the mission, maybe you're spamming stress relief or something, and he's always getting... It lowers his dodge though. That feels real bad. He's just going to get punched in the face perpetually. Like, you're lowering his dodge and making him the single target of everything. Think about that. He's guarding everybody. Like, he's trying to guard nonstop. He's getting hit twice as often because, you know, now he's 2 of the targets on your team instead of 4. I'm sorry, 2 of the targets instead of a singular 1 because he's guarding one of your teammates. And now he's lowering his own dodge and he's like, come hit me, but there's no upside to getting hit. That's a weird item. I feel like you'd want to have like a Vestal or something to offset the fact that he's going to get hit a lot. Or you'd have to really lean into like protection on him or something like that and just accept that he's going to get hit in the face. This is an interesting item, but it seems like it's doing 2 different things at once. It's making him a dog bleeder kind of guy, like he's just dealing a lot of extra bleed damage. It makes, like, the first line of text is great for Hound's Harry. Second line of text is really good for him being defensive. Third line of text completely contradicts the second line. And then the bottom line is reinforcing the second line. So the bottom 3 are for one skill, one way of playing him, and the top one's for a totally different one. It's kind of weird. It's a weird item. It's not bad. It's just kind of schizophrenic. It's like, it's kind of bipolar. It's kind of, I'm not trying to think of a word. It's kind of split on what it's trying to do. Vestal, okay, plus 20% healing skills if holy water's in your inventory, okay. Plus 25% damage versus husks, plus 25% damage versus eldritch, and plus the heretical passage. That's really cool flavor-wise. That's really cool. It's like, you know, like the Dead Sea Scrolls or like the Gospel of Thomas or some other thing. Kind of basically like it's not like canonical gospel like she's supposed to know from being a... That's cool. I like that a lot. That's neat. It's just cool. Like, I mean, flavor-wise, the design is just neat. It's like a profane passage, heretical. That's cool. The item itself is weird. I'm not bothered by the minigame of keeping a holy water in your inventory. As I said, anything that requires you to keep an item in your inventory on this mission doesn't matter, because on specifically the farmstead, you very rarely go home with anything at all. I mean, you really just take home what you brought minus what you used, plus some crystals. And maybe, I guess, like, I've never got them, but I'm assuming you can at some point get memories too, because that was a thing you can acquire. I don't know how you get them. I'm guessing it's probably being a boss or something. So we've seen things about mentioning memories, but I've never seen that type of resource. But the 25% damage versus husk, which is the same thing as an eldritch. It's just like husks are eldritch from specifically that one location. It's like everywhere else they're eldritch, but they didn't want to call them eldritch. I think they just differentiated it, and they made husks and they made eldritch like two different classes for the same reason that like they made blight and bleed. That way it's like, you know, not everything that protects against blight protects against every form of DOT. So they made blight and bleed, so they'd have a kind of way of making it so that you'd have to itemize for both, and then items that protected against one weren't just holistically busted. So they kind of differentiated and kind of spread the power apart a little. But this item is basically an admission of that in my mind, because giving plus 25% damage to Husk and 25% damage to Eldritch is basically the designer of the game saying, hey, listen, we want this to work on everything that has to do with the comet. And Eldritch and Husk are the same. They are. But we name them separate things. That way not every item works on every character that works. Because they don't want items that work specifically on Husk to work on Eldritch, right? But this is doing that. It's like, why would they do that? And the reverse of that is the case, too. Why would they, like, you know, there are items in this game, as an example, which we've seen before, like the Eldritch Slayer's Ring. This item does good against bosses that are Eldritch and random enemies that are Eldritch in the main game, but it doesn't do well against Husks. But any items that deal damage against Husks also deal damage against Eldritch. It's almost like they're trying to say, hey, we want the Eldritch items to do extra. We want the items that deal damage to Husks to be considered Eldritch damage items, but we don't want to retroactively take the items that were in the base game, like the Ring, that give damage against Husks, and we don't want those items to just make this farmstead mission type trivial. And you just spam that, as well as the old cross, what it was, the ethereal crucifix, and you just run in here and you just roll over the enemies like they're nothing early. We want you to engage in and buy these extra items from this shop. That's just my thinking, is that's probably what they thought about here. Man-at-Arms, Crystalline, plus 10 dodge. Now, this makes me think a little different. The first time I read this item, I thought it was kind of bad because, as I said before, I think it's weird when an item gives increased dodge, but also gives, like, protection, because I was like, why would you do that? And I've also said before, I think it's weird to give a character dodge who's focused on reposting, because you're like, okay, if I dodge, I don't get to repost. And then somebody made a comment, I think it was Steven, made a comment in the chat, was like, no, that's not how it works. And I was like, what? He's like, no, when you dodge, you still get to repost. I was like, oh, well, that changes things entirely. I didn't realize that. That kind of makes things interesting. But this item is weird. I think it's the only item in the game, though, that does this. So, like, 30% of the damage that the Man-at-Arms will take when he's using this, he'll just deal back to the enemy. So if they hit him for 10, he's going to deal 3 to them. It's like riposte, but, like, a different form of riposte. It's not like riposte can miss, but this just hits them no matter what. They're going to take the damage they deal. They're going to take 30% of the damage they deal. It's like more guaranteed to deal that damage. The downside, though, is if it's anti-synergistic with protection, right? Because if the protection mitigates the damage, then he doesn't take it, he can't reflect it. So this is a weird item. Plus 20% stun resist. Yeah, that's really even more weird, right? Because, well, no, I guess it's not as bad. I guess if you don't add protect to the character, and you instead give him max HP, just give him a stack HP on him, then let him take all the damage raw and not protect against it, and then he's gonna hit back for all of it because of the reflection. But then you can also use riposte, and then he'll hit for even more back, and then he's also got that stun resist to guarantee that his riposte don't get stopped. Actually, this could be okay. You use this item with another item that increases his max HP, like the eye patch, the longevity eye patch, or something similar. I mean, this is a okay item. There's also just that one health crystal. We don't have it. There's an item called health crystal. It gives like plus 20% max HP. You can't see this right now, but my game's lagging. This shop, I'm telling you, man, this shop lags the game. It's weird. I think the mirror shield's bad. I think it's serviceable. I think you could use it. It's not my favorite item in the list, but I think it's solid. You just have to, build right with the character, which you could say that about any item, but there's a lot of items on this list I just think are unplayable. I don't see a world where I'm going to want to use. I don't know. I guess the crystal pendant, but I guess a lot of these other items, as I started talking to them, I started to think of more use cases for them. They're not bad. They're just a lot more niche. I don't think the Huskfang whistle is good though. The rest of these I think are playable. They're okay. They're not incredible though. Mask of the Timeless Bounty Hunter, +2 speed, okay. +15 dodge, okay. Wow. This is like pretty not unassuming. This is not uninspired. What's the word for this? Oh, underwhelming. It doesn't really do anything. +2 speed is good. +15 dodge is good, but I okay. I was kind of hoping for something interesting, like these other abilities that do weird things, like attack a random thing for 5% or whatever, and extra stress when guarding, or stress relief. Like these like change the way you play the game. This is just raw stats, and it also has like. It doesn't even like synergize with the farm set. A lot of these items require you to carry a specific item in your inventory. This is just raw good. And I don't even know if it's good compared to a lot of the other items you could stack on it instead. It's a weird one. It's weird because it's so normal. Top shelf tonic. +15 dodge if medicinal herbs are in your inventory. Okay. +3 speed. Okay, so +15 dodge and +3 speed. That's good. -20% blight resist. So she takes more blight damage. Okay. +50% blight duration. Wow. So if the person is blighted for 3 rounds, they're going to be blighted for 1.5 rounds, I guess. Maybe. Okay, so I don't know. Does her blight abilities apply blight for 3 rounds? Does it even say? I don't even know. Like, as I checked something a second ago, it didn't seem to say. This is the blight one. For 4 rounds. Okay, so they would be blighted for 6 rounds. That's a long time to get value out of this. If the damage was like front loaded and they were blighted for 2 rounds and I did all that damage over 2 rounds, then the ability would just be better in general. So ignore that. But waiting for 4 rounds to get all the ticks off, that is a long time. 6 is a long. I mean, that's the whole fight. In most cases, this isn't even going to come to fruition. You're not even going to get the chance to see the value out of this top shelf tonic. But imagine the best case scenario. You start the fight off with her. She goes first before the boss. And I'm using a boss as an example because bosses are usually health batteries. They just have a lot of health. You start off with like your poison darts. And then after that, you spend the rest of the next like 6 rounds lunging at him, jump back, lunge at him, and then that blight's ticking, and it's just ticking, and she's lunging at him. That's probably the best case use of it, because if you're not going to throw the darts out and then follow it up by another darts, because now you've got 7. That's 7 turns that it's going to take before it fully ticks through. Of course, she will have passed by the time she applies the second stack, but. That's a long time to wait for that ability, for this item to get its full value. A lot can happen in 7 rounds. A lot can happen in 3 rounds. 7 is an eternity. I don't know if this item's any good. I'd love to try this. In terms of raw damage over time, this thing is great. This thing is great if fights lasted 10 rounds. I think this is a great item. I just don't know if you're... How many fights last 6 rounds, guys? And how many enemies are going to survive 6 rounds of ticking from blight when they could just get killed by raw damage by other people just killing it? Because, like, perfect case scenario, my opponent spawns an enemy in the back. That's a health battery that does very little damage, maybe heals the team or something. Just some 45 health monster that just throws out random buffs or something, and then the guys in the front are big tanks that are just super tanky. You throw out a blight thing, you throw out another blight thing, and it's just a ticket, and then she changes targets, starts attacking other things, and then it's just working on it. That's the best case scenario for this. I can't think of how many enemies actually spawn in the back that are super tanky, that are blightable, That you aren't like God, we got to get there and kill this thing now. It's okay that it hangs out for a while. Who's this for? Maybe there's higher tier enemies that this is good against. I don't know. My honestly, right now I'm thinking about like the use of this. This would be pretty good, weirdly enough, against the necromancer, because you could be like, throw out the. Yeah, actually, the Necromancer is probably one of the best people to use it against, because the Necromancer does, by himself, almost provides zero threat. And the fight is basically like this stat check of, can you clear the stupid skeletons as fast as he's spawning them? And you could, if you really wanted to, have her just start the mission and just throw out darts, and she's just throwing darts at the Necromancer. And then the Necromancer keeps spawning these skeletons, and then you're just like, killing the skeletons, and she's just throwing out darts. And everybody else is killing the skeletons, and then she would just kill the Necromancer by herself, because 8,000 ticks of poison would happen over 15 turns, and then he just die, and she could just keep on throwing, and it wouldn't matter where he's jumping back to. He's just getting hit by darts, and everybody else is clearing the. That would actually probably be the best use case I can think of. Plus, those guys are weak against blight, so that's funny. That might be the only use I can think of off the top of my head. Petrified Amulet. Plus 10 accuracy if the bandage is in inventory. Okay. That's actually really good on him. Like, he needs accuracy. Is the rest of it decent, though? Plus 15? Or minus 15%? No, minus 15% bleed resist. Bad. He's got one of the worst base bleed resists in the game. Really high blight resist, really bad bleed resist. Look, 70% here, 40%. He's level 3, so he's getting 10% every... He starts the game with 10% base bleed. This is awful. He doesn't need any additional help on bleeding. He's already bleeding all the time. What just happened? Oh, I clicked it wrong. There we go. I'm not too sold on that. I already disliked that because that. Plus 15% max HP, I guess, is fine. I guess it's not the worst if you just remember to bring bandages, which is literally what the minigame is with this, right? The Petrified Amulet. I guess it's not as bad because you bring your bandages because it makes this thing work. And anytime he bleeds, you get rid of it. And you keep on using this. And so as long as you bring a stack of 6 bandages... He's just more accurate. He has more health. But I just don't see how this is better. Like, how would you justify running this item by itself over just giving this dude the focus ring and the berserk mask? The combinations are so strong. They're so potent by themselves. Why? This is giving the accuracy raw and some crit and minus dodge, but whatever. It's a drop in the bucket. And then it gives him more crit, more speed. I don't care about the virtue chance. Like I said, I just want to kill my opponents. I don't really care about, hitting 100 stress. You kill them fast enough, you never hit the stress anyway. The minus 33% healing received does matter, but if you kill your opponents fast enough, it usually doesn't matter as much. I don't know. I don't like that item. I just think that this thing is outclassed by a number of other things. Highwayman only plus 20% damage. That's a hell of a stat line. Plus 3 speed. Minus 15 stun resist sucks, but not such a big deal. This is a playable item, because this is... If you run this item, you were saying, I'm not using melee abilities on the Highwayman. I'm using him for Grape Shot Blast. And then he's just going to pour damage into people. He's going to go fast, and he's going to hit 3 people, and he can even hit the invisible guys, because stealth, right? They've got stealth, doesn't matter. Grape Shot Blast. I can hit one of you, I can hit all 3 of you, and I'm hitting for even higher amounts of damage, and I'm going right now. You stun me, so be it, but I'm not getting double up, like... It's not paining me more than it would because I'm not using, I forget its name. I'm not using Duelist Advance if I'm going to be using this item in the first place, right? Any item that gives raw damage to the Highwayman, you're using it with Grape Shot Blast because it's giving 50% damage mod, right? It's this ability. Normally, if you do 100% damage, he's dealing 50% damage to 3 targets, which is a total raw amount of accumulated damage across 3 bodies of 150%. He's dealing 150% of his normal damage when he uses this ability. It's just across 3 bodies, no problem. That's kind of what you're doing with him. I mean, it's helping you clear multiple guys at the same time and letting you hit stealth guys, which is sneaky. But then you add on top of that this item. This extra 20% damage, that gets rid of the minus 50% malice, drops it only down to 30%. Now he's dealing 70% damage, or sorry, that's bad math, 80% damage to 3 targets. Now instead of dealing 100% damage, he's dealing 240% of his base damage across 3 bodies instead of 1. Now we're getting somewhere. Then you throw on Dismas's head. The dude is literally hitting for 300% damage of his regular base damage across 3 bodies. This is crazy. This is crazy. Like, really good. I actually think crystalline powder is really solid. The only question is whether or not there's a better item that can give him raw damage than that, and you could make an argument that there would be. I really, the question I have is his Grape Shot Blast, which has a low base accuracy. Ooh. That's the question. If you had a way of giving him additional accuracy, then you could really do what I'm saying. Yeah, this item, this ability, correctly, design-wise, has lower base accuracy. That's a good design decision. That was a good decision by the designer. If they didn't do that, the Grape Shot Blast is very powerful. Well thought out. Gotta give the game designer some credit there. Cluster Pendant, plus 25% charge given. What the heck? Basically the same thing. Plus 25% charge given, plus 15% stress, plus 15% charge driven. So this is just a weaker version of that. I get it, this costs more, but okay. Is that worth it? I said I didn't think 15% was worth it. Why would this be worth it? 25% extra stress? I don't know. I don't like it. Thirsting Blade, plus 15 accuracy. That's pretty good. And Hellion, she doesn't need it as much as some other classes, but solid. Minus 20% bleed resist. Okay. Plus 2 speed. Cool. Plus 8% crit versus bleeding. Is that saying plus 8% versus targets who are currently bleeding? That must be what that's saying. Oh, Thirsting Blade. I get the joke. It makes her more likely to bleed. It makes the enemies, like, more palatable for the blade whenever they're bleeding. Okay, I get it. On attack miss, self will take 5 damage. Oh, right, because it will give her its power, but the cost is blood, and if it doesn't get it from the enemy, it gets it from her. Okay, I get it. 2 speed, 15% accuracy, 8% crit. So with this, you don't run this item unless you have you probably want to bring the Jester, the Jester. Clearly the Houndmaster is the number one, but I'm thinking of who else besides the Houndmaster. The Jester and I guess the Flagellant. Those are the two. See, it says seems mid to me. Yeah, I think the item is fine. I mean, I know that you like the Hellion. I think you've talked about this before. I think this item is pretty solid. I think the one thing that's it's got going for it that's problematic is that she already has pretty high base accuracy anyway. So this 15 extra accuracy is bonus on a character who's pretty accurate already. The question I would have is, at higher levels, how dodgy did the enemies get on this mission? I haven't spent a lot of time at the higher tiers of, like, the farmstead, so this could be good. The speed is always nice, can't really knock that. The bleed resist I don't really care so much about. As I said before, like, this mission, there's no real problem with bringing enormous amounts of additional provisions. So if I bring 2 stacks of bandages, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. Bleed is literally irrelevant. So the minus 20% bleed resist on this mission, specifically the farmstead, is not a problem because you don't have to worry about item slots. You can bring as much toilet paper as you want. Like, you have to compare it to Focus Ring. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but again, Focus Ring fits a different role. Focus Ring is 10 accuracy. This is 15 accuracy. This is better accuracy. Focus Ring is more focused on raw accuracy, raw crit. And yes, this is better in general. But on this character, there's no question. There's no question at all, if you have the right comp, that Thirsting Blade is better. There is no question. Because 15 accuracy is higher than 10, and 5% crit, even conditional, that's weaker than 8%, even if it's conditional. Because if I start the fight off and I just use Hound's Harry and bleed everybody's bleeding, she attacks whoever she wants. I could literally build a comp, just go throw this on her, give the leper the where's that at? Oh, game's lagging again. God, where's that at? Where's the leper's item? It's going to take me 10 minutes to get to it because apparently the game's lagging super hard. Oh, it wasn't the leper. No, it was the leper. Yeah, the Petrified Amulet. 10 accuracy if the bandage is in the inventory. We're already going to be carrying it around if we're using the Thirsting Blade. Plus 15% max HP and minus 15% bleed resist. Again, we don't really care too much. Everybody's running around with, like, lower bleed resist. And then at that point, you just throw out a Hound's Harry, and again, you could have Huskfang Whistle. I don't really like this item, but you could if you wanted to. Plus 50% skill chance to bleed. Like, you know, the Houndmaster goes first. You give him a speed item, make him go before everybody else. Guaranteed Hound's Harry, bleed everybody. Immediately after that, she's hitting. This is, and you might say to yourself, well, yeah, you're jumping through a lot of hoops to make this work. Yeah, but it's not bad. Like, if I was jumping through a lot of hoops to make something work, like I talked about how on like the Plague Docker, it feels real bad to run an item that removes blight resist and lowers it by 40% with that one herbs item. Herbs, whatever. Poisoned herb. Like, this item feels bad because it's like, well, I'd rather just run a character who actually can deal damage. Like, give me a bleed guy that can deal damage to the target. Why try to remove the blight skill from a character who already has 80% blight skill? Now, later in the game, you don't have that choice because enemies will have like 80% blight resist and 120% bleed resist, and they don't want to get blighted, but you really need as much damage over time as you can, so you do run something like this. Then you bring like your Antiquarian, so the Antiquarian can lower subsequent blight skill check chances, and then you start the fight out by immediately stripping that weakness off the character, and then the acid burns through, as it were. But in that case, then you're kind of building a weird. In the case where you don't really need to do that, if we do have an enemy that has like 20% bleed resist and 80% blight resist, it doesn't make any sense to pick that item. But because then you're kind of like building building around something that could have been built better if you just put raw damage on a character who deals bleed. But in this case, this item is actually, the juice is worth the squeeze. It is better than Focus Ring when active. The question is, are the other things that would enable it also good enough to bring here? And as I was saying here, you could build a believable and playable bleed comp on this location if you were to bring a Jester, a Houndmaster, a Leper, or a Flagellant, your choice. And the reason you'd bring the Leper is because it would synergize well with this item, the Petrified Amulet. But if you brought obviously, if you brought the Flagellant, even better. But if you brought this, you could build a believable and decent bleed comp here, and then she would always be active because the Houndmaster would be in the fifth or the fourth slot. The Jester would be in slot 3. The Flagellant would be in slot 2, and then you'd have the Hellion in slot 1. Hellion in slot 1 mainly because if you wanted to, you could, I guess. No, hold on. Yeah, you don't even have to have. I mean, I could give her if it bleeds. You could literally just have her be in slot 1 and just like constantly slapping the old Swan attack. What's that called again? Iron Swan. And just Iron Swan the backline, and oh my god, yeah, I think this is a legitimate item. It just takes setup. You have to have the right comp, but I really do think this is better than Focus Ring if you have the comp for it. And it's not some weird, degenerate, goofy, backwards thing you have to make work. It's not like Magical Christmas Wonderland where you have to have the right thing to work out. This is a reasonable comp, and I'm not putting people in weird, non-traditional slots to make it work either. And there's also a lot of synergy in the fact that, like, the carrying, and then you've got a lot of those bandages, and at that stage, now this is always active. She's always got a way of like handling if she gets bled. You've got the Flagellant who can bleed himself if he heals people, but realistically, you know, probably wouldn't run that ability at all. And then after that, you've got the Jester who's bleeding people too. All 4 of those people are bleeding people. Well, Hellion has a bleed if it bleeds, but you would also have her just kind of consuming the bleed debuff, as it were, at that stage. I actually think this is a solid item. Isohedric Musket Balls. Plus 20% damage. On attack, random target will take... Oh! Okay, is that kind of similar to this one? Random target 5%. On attack, random target 5%. This is saying on attack, random target 20%. Is this... I don't understand this. Is this saying you get 20% extra damage, but also 20% extra damage to a random... It does 20% extra damage to some random person? It's kind of hard to understand, because random... I'm guessing it says random target takes 20% damage too. That's probably what this is saying. Huh. This would be really funny with Grape Shot Blast. Oh, this is Musketeer. I just assumed because it was bullets. Yeah, okay, that makes sense too. Oh, okay. This kind of makes it so the Musketeer can attack more than one person. That's kind of the whole point. Okay, interesting. 20% damage is not a joke steroid. And there's no downside on this thing, right? It's just boring raw damage, but it's a lot of raw damage. I mean, my God. Sounds like look it up on the wiki item. Yeah, it probably is. I probably should move it a little bit. Let's look at this one real quick. I'm going to finish it up because we're almost done. Healing bolts. Arbalist only. Crystalline plus 20% damage. Again, always good. Oh, this is the same character. Plus 20% damage on ramp. Yeah, because this is the same. Oh, wow, look at that. This is the first time I've ever seen them differentiate and give a different item to the Musketeer than they gave to the Arbalist. Usually it's the same item. Wow. They differentiated in this one case. Plus 7% crit on range skills. What? On attack, self, stress plus 3. Yo, this is insane. This is much better than the isohedric musket balls. Plus 20% damage and plus 7% crit to range kills, so she's just going to pretty much crit like all the time. Because remember, you know, with that character, usually you try to give her something like the item we just got. Where's it at? I guess I need to sort. No, sort by rarity. It's a rare item. I know it is. Yeah, there it is. The Bullseye Bandana. Plus 8 crit. Because this is what I said about this item. Is I said it's essentially a focus ring light. But it's actually just as good as the focus ring. It's just different, right? Because it gives 8 accuracy. This gives 10. This gives 5 crit. This gives 5. This gives -4 dodge only. This gives -8. Would you trade 2 accuracy for, you know, 4 extra dodge? Honestly, I think it's semantics. They're the same thing, basically. And this is even more nice because you don't have to wait till late game to get it. Like the focus ring is an item that, you know, you can use on everybody, but this can only be used on the Arbalist, but you get it way earlier. Well, potentially. It's a little easier to get, let's just say that. But I think this item, paired with the Keening Bolts, now you're talking about a person having an additional 5% crit, plus an extra 7% crit, because all of her skills are ranged. And then her raw abilities. What's her raw attacks do? I can look at a Musketeer or Arbalist. Doesn't matter who I find first. Oh, there's 2 there. 5% base crit here, and then if you add in something like, you know, I don't have, well, clutch hitter, but there's another one we saw a bit ago. Who was the douche, the dork, whatever you want to say, that got the crit, ranged crit? Was him, right? Eagle Eye, old Eagle Eye. But if you gave her Eagle Eye, she rolled Eagle Eye too. Now you're talking about 5 plus 5 plus 7, 17 base crit. That's, hold on. That's just off of that. That's not even including her actual ability. Then you add on her ability itself, which has a base 5, right? You're talking about a 22% base crit chance, 1 in 4, that she crits. Now it says on attack self. There's a 1 in 4 chance. So there's a 1 in 4 chance that she'll crit when you put those together. But there's also a 1 in 4 chance she adds 3 stress. 3 stresses. Who cares? Most of the time, it's not even gonna matter, because half the time when you have this class, you're using other abilities besides that kind of stuff anyways. Like, so on attack, so if she's not attacking, see, this specifically says on attack. If I used Battlefield Bandage, it doesn't even attack. It's a heal, so she's not even hitting an enemy. So you're not kind of in a situation where it's like, man, when I'm healing, I'm taking stress too. It's like, no, okay. I think this is a good item too. It's cool. It's interesting. Miller's Pipe. That item, just the name sounds cool. On monster kill, stress -2. That's so little. And I understand if you know, that's like, oh, but there's a lot of monsters. Dude, no. You kill 4 monsters, your character will have lost 8 stress over the entire fight. That's trash. And I understand if you fight mission after mission after mission, like at this location, let's say like you fight like 4 waves. After 4 waves, this will have removed 24 stress. Whoop-de-doo. What? Monster killed. If you kill a monster, all monsters will become blighted. Okay. Okay. What? So, its best use case is when you kill the first enemy. You kill the first enemy, 3 people get blighted. You kill the second one, less people get blighted. So it's best after the first kill. And then it gets progressively worse. 2 points per round for 3 rounds. Okay. Hero kill. If a hero gets killed in your party, what? The whole party takes 45 stress? If a hero is killed in your party gets a debuff of -1. This is trash. I don't even... Okay, if this thing literally only had the first 3 lines and didn't have the downsides, I still wouldn't run it on anyone. If they gave me this item, I wouldn't use it. What? This item's terrible. 24 stress after 3 battles is its upside, and you're thinking is, oh yeah, but it can just randomly like do a bunch of random blight damage. Let's say you start the fight by this, because here's a key thing: monster killed, all monsters will get blight. I don't know if this is the case or not. I think this is requiring the person that's holding the pipe to be the killer. What are the odds that you're going to manufacture a scenario where this character is the first person that gets that kill, gets the killing blow on the enemy, and then blights everybody, and then it deals, let's say, an extra. I mean, if you do the perfect case scenario, it's like you put this on, let's say, the Musketeer. The Musketeer starts the fights off, immediately kills the backliner, like a stress dealer or something like that. You know, one of those random guys that throws a tempting goblet or something. Throws 3 blight stacks on 3 enemies, and it isn't even guaranteed to hit, by the way. She's stacked at the item that does extra damage, or enemies that are blighted take more damage from blight, because that's kind of her thing, right? You give her that item as well. So she's going to be blighting out more. Over 1 round, they're going to take 6 total across all 3 bodies. 2 rounds are going to take 12. So she's going to have dealt, it's essentially 1 free crit across 3 bodies. In the meantime, she's removed 1 stress from herself because she killed 1. And this is assuming she's the one that delivered the killing blow. Now, suppose, even in the best case scenario, maybe it doesn't require her to be the one that deals the killing blow, whoever is holding the pipe, maybe it doesn't, whatever. Even if that's not the case, whoever it was that's holding it's just now, they've received 2 stress relief, and then another 2. What? And then the downside is just god-awful, which I don't even care if it is god. It's like, here's a 10% buff to your character, and then here's a 50% bad situation, like, you know, like a really bad downside. If I had this item for free at the start of the game, if this was a starting item that I could just give to one of my characters and the game would just let one of my characters have it for free, I would not use it. I would just sell it. Yeah, this is bad. And you're saying, you know, if it was party-wide stress relief, you're basically saying if I kill an enemy, it would remove like 2 stress from every single player? I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'd like it then. I guess that would be okay. Maybe it'd be better. This is awful. I don't know what this item's trying to do. Maybe if it was like on kill stress minus X, where X is the number of enemies you fought this mission or killed this mission, and it just progressively gets better over the course of the mission, then you're kind of stacking, then it'd be cool. Because then it's just like it's feeding the pipe and getting stronger, and then the longer the mission goes on, that character who's holding it basically never has to worry about stress. Although then you'd have to run into the issue of people like cheesing with it and switching it between characters, and then you know, just using it to lower stress entirely. Although I don't even know how bad that would be, though, right? Because how many actual enemies do you see in a mission? 24, 30, something like that. That's a total of 60 stress relief across I mean, that sounds like a lot, but it's like, it's for 1 person, and that's assuming that you see all those people. And I still don't know if this hits a single target, if this requires that person to be the killer. It gets better as you smoke enemies. That's funny. That's funny. Coat of many colors. I like that name. On monster kill, buff. Okay, on kill of a monster, you'll buff the target. Who is the target? What? On monster kill, buff target. Is the person wearing it the target? Minus 2% stress. On monster kill, buff target, plus 2 accuracy. Hero killed, stun party stun 100%. Yeah, so if the hero dies, this will stun your entire team. Why? Hero killed, party stress. Yeah, what? On monster kill, buff target. Do I get to choose who gets this? Okay, here's my honest question. Whoa, okay. Does the code... Okay, the farmstead has a totally different animal. It's got a totally different... Hold on. I'm not analyzing these items right. The miller's pipe is still not great, but it's a little bit better than I thought. Remember that in the farmstead, enemies constantly spawn in on the same fight. It's not different fights. So the blight is stacking and then stacking on new guys that are showing up, and the blight is traveling between them as they show up. It just keeps on rolling. Maybe better than I said. Because if you can start the fight off by immediately killing, it doesn't even matter if you kill him immediately. If you can start a fight off, kill a target, stack blight on three other guys, kill another target, blight's ticking on the other guys. A few rounds pass, blight's ticking. 2 more guys spawn. These guys die. They spread their plague to the other guys. Does this on monster kill thing? Hold on. This says on monster kill and monster killed. Is this checking if a monster is killed? All monsters get blighted, no matter who's killed it. If it doesn't require the person that's wielding the pipe to spread the plague by being the person that delivers the killing blow, this item might actually be okay on this location. I don't know. That's one of those things you'd have to kind of play test with. I'd have to look this item up. I don't even know how it works. It's a weird item. It's cool if it's doing what I'm thinking, but it's obviously, this item is one of those items you would never use ever. In the previous estimate we were talking about, you'd never use this anywhere other than the farmstead. On the farmstead, maybe I need to take another look at that item. The reason I realized that is because I was reading this item, because it says on monster kill you buff a target. I'm like, what? And I was like, whenever I was like looking through this, I was like, on a monster kill, and it says on monster kill, and I'm like, why in the world would -2 stress, -2% stress be good? Why would +2 accuracy be good? And then I realized, hold on. If this just keeps stacking wave after wave after wave, suddenly, like, my guy has, like, +10 accuracy, +12, +15, never gets 15, it's odd. But you're getting into the double-digit free accuracies. Double digits of free stress relief, which is a nice little extra thing, whatever. And that's not as powerful as the plus accuracy, but it matters on that location, because I think there's more stress effects. I think the otherworldly Cthulhu-like crystalline, whatever, otherworldly enemies, whatever you want to call them, they have a higher stress chance than anything. We saw that, I guess, with the thing from the stars. He applies a lot more stress. These are if these items work the way they think they do, and I'm really probably I'm leaning towards that they do work the way that I've reevaluated them to work. If they do work that way, then they're a lot better than I thought. But they're still they're very much high risk, high reward. The way you need to evaluate these items is essentially ignore the debuffs. Just ignore the downside risks and ask yourself, is the upside worth it? Because ideally, you'll never have a character die. If a character dies, you're in trouble. But if a character doesn't die, these could theoretically be some real powerful item pushers, like wave pushers. The downside to these items is they do nothing against bosses. Stark nothing. Because you can't, like, the plague does not... Hold on. The Miller spawns husks, and I think there's like a crystal boss that spawns husks too. Ooh. I might have to look into that item. If the husks, because if the crystals blow up, because I remember there's like a boss at the farmstead where there's like a bunch of random crystals that keep growing through stages, if I remember right. And if those blowing up counts as dying, even if you're not the one that destroyed it, the crystals popping count as a death. Now we might be talking. I don't know. Non-Euclidean hill. Wow, this costs a lot. 200 crystals. That's a lot of crystals. Plus 15% max HP. Okay, Crusader only. Oh, okay, yeah. The poor Crusader hasn't had an item. This is his first item. I guess everybody has one, but he's the last one. First character you get, the last character who gets an item. That's funny. Non-Euclidean hilt. Plus 15% max HP. Okay. On attack, a random target will take... I'm guessing that means 5% damage. Okay, sure. 25% chance... stun if holy water's in your inventory, which makes sense for the character. Okay. On attack. A Crusader applying blight was not on my bingo card. This is cool, but way too expensive. This should have cost 100 crystal. 15 max HP is fine. On attack, random targets 5 is nothing. That line basically reads no damage. Like, compare it to things like this one, 5%. Why is it 65? This one over here is dealing, what was it? 20%? Well, it's 25% chance to like, or stun skill chance if holy water's in your inventory. He's already got. Where's that item at? The Paralyzer's Crest is already giving 20% stun chance by itself. This is 25%, I admit. 15% max HP and 25%. I'm not really looking at the item in isolation of its raw stats. I'm thinking about its raw stats compared to the cost as well. Like 200 crystal is a lot of crystal. And admittedly, it's solid stats. I'd use this a lot of the game. If you got this at the beginning of the game, I'd use it all the time. It's a great item if you have it earlier. But like later in the game, it's like, is this really that worth? I mean, 200 crystal? I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning towards just my first go-to. My thinking is that if I was going to pick a random thing to buy, I'm Spectral Spear Tip is stupid. This is stupid, right? Just raw 15% extra damage across the board for the entire shield breaker. Randomly deal some extra damage. I don't care about that. Extra chance of blighting when she wants to blight. That's even better. And then just randomly gets not minus 15% at max HP, plus 50. There's no doubt this item is all raw good. What? Yes, sir. I'm buying that. That item's insane. I think that item is like almost like it might be like this tier. I think this item's that tier. So yeah, I could definitely see. Like I think Broken Key. I think Spectral Spear Tip's where it's at. I think these two items are probably like I don't know this. Hot take. My opinion. I think these are the two best crystalline items. Huh. I don't know. Let's look and see what we got going on here. What do I got? 3 hours and 30 minutes here. Okay, I think I'm gonna take a break. Just get up, go grab something to eat, and then we come back and play for the rest of the evening. Said I'm gonna play for the whole night. I'm gonna play all the way to probably midnight. I was really excited to play, so I'm gonna wrap things up for this video. Stop, come back. This will give me a chance to kind of get up and stretch my legs to go get out of my house for a little bit. So, but that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for this episode. I appreciate you watching. If this is your first time seeing my channel, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna say this real quick. Head over to the Blue Titan Gaming to see full. Well, I guess head over to the Blue Titan Gaming to see edited content, faster clips. Anything that's like shorts, anytime you want to see like content that kind of catches you up from where we were last time, head over to the Blue Titan Gaming VODs if you want to see raw content, me talking for a long time, 3-hour videos of me just playing this game and theory crafting and just kind of chatting and stuff. But either way, I appreciate your time. You know, I have people come in and out. You know, if you want to come in and see my channel, you want to talk to me, like leave comments if you're watching, whatever. I'm trying to learn to get better, so any comments are great. I messed with my microphone today, change that a little bit too. So like I'm always actively trying to take additional requests and try to make things better. So, but yeah, I'm going to end things here. So I will see you in a bit. But if this is the only video you're watching, I'll see you another time. Thank you. Goodbye.